Oh my word. 大家好, hi guys, it's Janae and welcome back to my channel, and today I am finishing up Under the Skin season 2. I can't believe it. We are tackling episode 21 to 28 and I really hope you guys have enjoyed this. This has been a mammoth to edit. I think it's taken me over 100 hours. Just the series as a whole, but it was so worth it. I enjoyed it so much and I hope you guys will enjoy these final reactions as well. Before we do get into it, I just want to say a quick thank you to all my amazing patrons and channel members. If you're interested in doing either of those for uncut versions of these reactions and more, the links will be in the description below, along with my social media and my PO box. And if you want to subscribe, that's always greatly appreciated. But now, without further ado, let's get into today's video. Oh, great.
途中的监控显示没有上下人，时间是昨天中午12:15。
立刻联系当地派出所配合，我们现在就过去。
Oh wow, that's a cool building. What's to say he's not standing right outside of your field of vision? Yeesh, the way they're using the camera is like stressing me out because they're not showing us the full scope of the room, which is concerning. So, are you alive? I don't think he's alive. Unless he fell asleep, but the bottle in his hand kind of makes you think this was supposed to look like an overdose. Water running? That's not good. I'm not stressed, I'm feeling. Who's dead? No. Oh.
打电话叫救护车。
I'm so glad she's okay.
爸，把那个人放了吧。
That poor woman.
吃药，吃药。
Oh, that's creepy. The fact that they're being watched by him.
这个贾兆云我就还给你了，我找到了个更合适的人选。
Oh great! Please let it not be Shinyi. Crap! The thing is, at this point, if I was Du Chung, I would be so, like, distrustful of any time that Shinyi was not reachable. I would be paranoid. He would always have to answer his phone if he's like able to, and if he's not, I'm jumping to the worst conclusion.
我同事呢？你把我同事怎么了？
Crap! Not them letting my car, like getting my guard down. I'm just telling myself, like, we still have 8 episodes left after this. He can't die now. This is the frustrating thing, because... Why are you filling like a glass with warm water? Oh, Shinji. You know that knots in someone's heart that you've been talking about? This is the one in yours. Oh, that's an interesting makeup because it kind of looked like they highlighted this one eye and didn't like the other one.
叔叔这次不会扔下你不管。宁宁，宁宁，宁宁。
But it's it's interesting. I noticed it while doing the thumbnail for the previous few episodes how heavily focused on the color red this season. I'm really worried about Shinji right now, not just physically. Shinji!
陈警官，
Oh, this man is addicted to causing himself trouble, I swear. Sorry, I'm so stressed. But also, like, well done to the actor because I was so immersed. I don't like. Yeesh.
我洗耳恭听。坐。
The fact that he walked himself into this, it just.
这个龙凤呈祥可是冯小文当年获奖的经典剧目。
What frustrates me with this is Shinji's own need to not let him get away with this is the thing that might lead to him getting away with it, because he's laying bare everything that the police knows and kind of like instigating him at this point, whereas he might not actually have made a run for it or gone like MIA had Shinji stayed put, because like he found him at his house. Obviously this man was complacent.
哎呀，怎么开始呢？
Why are you turning your back on a suspected murderer?
到底要
Shinji!
怎么开？
Shinji! Oh, he's freaking me out.
没有老旦，无国泰。直到有一天，
It's scary how calm he's staying in the face of this.
身后没有比他更合适的人选了，就他了。不够，还是不够。孙权呢？是你呢？
The thing is, as much as I do think part of this is an act for Shinji, I don't, like, there's a part of it that I don't think is. And that's what worries me.
得要有身段，得要有膀子力气。
Which is interesting that he feels Shinji... Oh wait, no, this isn't the... So what... The woman that was attacked... What role was she supposed to fulfill, and how is Shinji a better substitute for that? Because as much as on the one hand I feel like it could be justified that he took Shinji to spite the officers and Shinji as well for revealing his entire plan, but considering how particular he is about his obsession, I feel like he would crave someone who actually fulfills the role. So what was that role?
他来演另外一个宫女，再合适不过了。
But
孙权，这孙权可太不好找，闭眼自然。太好了，太好了！
again, props to the actor, but he's freaking me out right
现
now.
在就差一个赵云了。赵云得不管了戏坛，都把魏小文带走了。
This is so interesting because as much as I'm still worried and I don't think Shinji has planned this out, but he's captivated this guy in the same way that she captivated him originally. So regardless of any other qualifications, it would make sense why he was like, yes, this is the final person needed, because look at the performance he just gave me. Friction.
戏台从来都不是什么具体的地方，他的心。
It's the stage in my heart. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
所以，
Great. I'm not stressed at all.
所以必须要把国友给抓回来。
我也确实不易啊，主要是我觉得这个选角导演的审美实在是太差了，太失望了。
你说什么？审美太差？怎么差了？
Why are you instigating him?
你看吗？
Do you have your weapon with you? I'm assuming you'd be issued a gun. We saw it in the previous season.
哪一点？还有那个赵元庆，他没有气势，怎么能演得了孙权呢？
I understand you're trying to make a point, but poor guy just being
冯
insulted
小
like
莲
that.
泉下有知，
这个人他根本就不是完成冯小莲的心愿，他这是在玷污京剧。
Why you?
目光如电，英姿飒爽。他连性别都不对。
Oh, great. Oh, great. Look at this gaze like lightning, handsome man saying that the role needs to be changed. Ugh. I can't decide if he's doing this on purpose or not.
我还睡好了。
Crap, you're about to be attacked and I don't want a jump scare.
要不你来演？
是你。
感谢老天爷，赐给我一个真子龙。
A part of me wonders if Shinyi was scared that they wouldn't be able to indict him on what they had, like they wouldn't be able to connect him to the crimes with what they had. So he's willingly making himself a victim with the hopes that, number one, obviously, I think he's hoping Du Cheng will be able to come and save him. Though how, I'm not sure. Unless we're about to have a reveal that he left a note for Du Cheng. But besides that, even if he, like, I think in his mind, even if he dies, the connection will be clear. And then at least this man will go to jail. And the fact that I'm even considering that being a genuine option in Shinyi's mind is very concerning. I think he needs therapy. I'm worried for him. He does have beautiful eyes, I've said this many times, so this man's judgment is not wrong, but I don't want Shinyi to die. Is that too much to ask? Did he paint that for him? You know, he can paint another stand-up puppet for you, and you can have that when you go to jail. You really don't need to murder people to achieve this feeling. You could have just hired an artist and have a lot of your pain be dealt with. Oh, we're really about to see this? I don't know if I'm mentally prepared for this. I'm just realizing, I think Shinyi tricked him into discarding the girl in an attempt to save her life. Though that almost didn't work, considering she almost died from suffocation, but or drowning. Oh! Is it possible for it to decay that quickly? I'm sorry, I'm overthinking. Let's just assume this is realistic. Okay. I don't think it's actually possible for it to decay that quickly, but censorship laws might require that you don't show a bloody decomposed body, to be fair. Oh, that must have been horrible. I don't feel bad. Like, I feel bad for him in a sense, but the murder that he committed afterwards just takes a lot of that away. I do feel absolutely horrible for her though, because she deserved none of this.
满意吗？
Not until you're dead, probably.
满意，相当满意。
But
到最后却通通被你强行拉来，
作为你们爱情的祭品。
you know, I would have preferred if you had this conversation with him after he's arrested instead of while he could still murder you.
搞了这么，
这一切都是小文想要的，
I'm
这是小
sure.
文给我的启示。
Well, I mean, technically he could be right. Everything here, as in the paper cutouts of a performance in honor of her, that could have been enough. But no, you had to murder people. I don't think anyone, okay, maybe not anyone, that's too general, but most sane people aren't like, yes, please dedicate the lives of 7 or 8, I don't know how many strangers to me after I'm dead.
不能像那样脏乱。他自己
That
肯定也
is
不会喜欢
fair,
那
but
个
I
样
don't
子。
think the answer is murder.
为了这钱脸都不要了啊！什么钱都挣。
Okay. So what I think actually happened here is he took out that rage on him and then justified it to himself afterwards. I was not expecting seeing this like visual of a crime. Sad thing is, he probably could have been saved at this point if he'd just been resuscitated. But no, this man was like, okay, so I've committed a murder. Let's just casually dedicate him and other people to my loved one. And we just spiraled from there. The fact that this man had the multiple choice option of like trying to resuscitate the
直到我看
man,
到他脸上那块白印，我
just
才知
dumping
道
his body somewhere,
哦，
and he went with,
这个
let
一
me
定是小
start
文在
a
告诉我。
death opera. It's interesting as well that he restrained him physically when he was already
他想要
dead.
这台
That,
戏，
something about that is quite grim
他
to me.
想要这台，这也是他对我们爱情的愿望。
Okay, if you say so.
那根本不是什么小文给你的启示，那是你杀死周国良的那
Can we
块
not
故事
walk closer to the murderer, please?
就凭冯小文放弃了家人，放弃了一切，毅然决然地选择了奔向你。
That's actually a fair point. Like if she'd been committed to the troop in the way that he has framed it for himself, she would have stayed there till the day she died. Because clearly she had a very decisive type of personality. She decided to leave her family for him. So if she had had that decisiveness over wanting to stay in the troupe to be able to perform the Phoenix play one last time, she would have done that. That's actually a really fair point. I didn't even think of that.
这是你对他的玷污。
Great. Great! You know that thing standing by your shoulder?
这不是玷污，
Maybe use that as a defensive brace because I think considering his mental state, stabbing something that looks like her might actually deter him enough to buy you time.
就是
葛一天，葛一天，
Oh. Du-Chung is gonna rip into you. You guys barely patched up the misunderstand, like the frustration from the previous. Please tell me you recorded this entire thing, as insane as it was, because Shinyi, you promised him. You promised him you wouldn't do this again. I was fully expecting him to collapse, like he looked like he was about to. Those are beautiful. I don't necessarily know if that man deserves that kind of dedication from Shinyi, but beautiful nonetheless.
沈老师今天请假了，他说他终于可以睡个好觉了。
Are we sure about that? I just love the fact that Shinji drew Du-Chung's car there in the background with the bike rack. You didn't take one before leaving? Interesting. I'm glad he's okay. Like, I was genuinely worried for him at the start of this episode. He was being very intense. Dealing with a cannibal? What's going on? Please tell me we're not dealing with a cannibal. Ugh. The whiplash of the serenity that we just had with Shinyi, and now this? Where are we? Please tell me not that guy is home. I still don't trust him at all. Was this the guy who was murdered's house? Because he is wearing protective shoes, so... Sorry for the music being gone, it's on the video. Where are we? The staff of Hermes? Probably not. Interesting. That seems out of place.
充满了混乱，似乎好像也缺少了点家的味道。
Yeah, it is very like overly neat.
还有，
It doesn't feel lived in almost. Maybe I'm just not a neat enough person to understand this level of organization, but
这里应该才是案发现场，
bathroom?
感觉像是入室抢劫杀人，然后再把尸体搬运至地下冷库。
That's a very strange place to be assaulted, though it would make sense in terms of his outfits and the fact that we saw how symmetrical and neat and organized everything was, and then there was just that one incense holder that had its lid dropped off. It doesn't feel quite right. I think if the rest of the house had been a normal house, that wouldn't even have been a blip. but because it's not, it's a bit weird. So that is the end of episode 20, and I think safe to say the most intense episode we've had so far this season, which is saying a lot considering it's not as if the other episodes have been boring by any means. It just, Shinyi's performance, the actor's performance was so intense, and it's interesting to see like Shinyi playing more into kind of like this persona whenever he needs to elicit a certain reaction from the suspect. I appreciate that we kind of got that small shot of Shinyi's phone showing that he had sent the location to Ducheng. It just makes me wonder how much of this was communicated in time versus like stressing poor Ducheng out for the 100th time, and me by extension. So I'm assuming when he was driving, maybe at that point he'd send Ducheng the location, because I'm assuming the 2 hours where that we jumped back in time was the amount of time that he had to do the artwork for him. So I'm assuming there wasn't a big amount of time between Ducheng being tipped off of Shinyi being missing and them coming to find Shinyi. Interesting. This has been a wild ride, so I can't help but still think over everything that just happened. The previous episode was super intense. I don't think we're gonna have like breathing room because we're already on to the next case and it looks equally grim, but I'm curious to see what they have in store for us, because they've kind of now implied that Shinyi feels like he can breathe again, and I'm wondering how that's gonna affect how he approaches the next case. So we'll see. I hope you guys enjoy it, and without further ado, let's get into it.
你是杜青的弟弟是吗？
对，您认识我姐姐？
Yeah, I was.
咱们聊案子。
好，来坐。
Yeah. I am hoping we'll see her again. I appreciate that maybe they couldn't get the actress to come back for the season, so I appreciate that they're still referencing her somewhat, because at least then it means they've not forgotten about her existence.
那您是什么时候发现您太太遇害的？
就今天。
Why did I think that was Guy? My bad.
他睡眠也轻，我们就分开睡，这样就互不干扰了。
您儿子呢？不正。
Look, people's sleeping arrangements are their own thing, but I feel like his flight could either be an alibi, like a self-created alibi, which would mean that obviously he murdered her, or because he was away and the wife was lonely, she had someone over and that's what happened, like that's when it happened. I would just assume that if it's not him, it would have to be a lover, because you wouldn't be likely to have a spat in a bathroom with a friend or a colleague, you know?
他自己住外面。
让我进去，让我进去看看。你冷
Is he
静
about to
点，
accuse
这个
his
自私的混蛋
dad?！
曹先生，方便让我们和您儿子聊几句吗？
Oh wow, this man has a beautiful face, sorry.
早知道那天晚上我就不回去了。
你和你父亲关系不太好，
Just a little bit.
虽然是他生了我，但我这辈子都看不上他。
I mean, it's possible
问杜
that.
队，在座的没有一个人比他清楚，是吧，杜总？
Like, you're technically from a wealthy family. Please explain to us how this works. That's so funny. But I mean, it could have been that he just refused, and maybe the dad wanted to like kick him out of the family business completely, and the mom managed to be like, we're not kicking him out, he's my son, part of this is my company, so we'll give him a clubhouse and let him do his own thing, and you're leaving him alone.
我发现了一个比较可疑的人，就是这个人。23号上午10点 他从小区后门刷卡进入，直接去了曹家。他是从前门进去，但是很可惜，这个人戴了帽子和口罩，看不清样貌。
Are we talking full of a corpse or?
沈毅呢？
他正在复原呢。
Wait, he's already on.
你们看啊，这个人进小区直接进了曹家。
调查一下近半个月进入过曹家的人，包括物业的内部工作人员。明白。
Because imagine you killed your. Okay, I should stop speculating. We're way too early in the case. Probably not the dad, because again, the show doesn't like to be straightforward. 监控里的人我还原出来了。
这个人，他可能曾经接受过化疗，是一位癌症患者。
癌症患者。
癌症患者到了化疗的阶段。
这块有他用过的东西没？
有，他走的时候公牌上交了，我收着呢。
他住哪？
I'm sad that we didn't get to see Cindy draw it. I never get tired of seeing him draw things. But if he resigned 3 months ago, what was he doing at the house?
凭什么带走他？你有什么证据啊？
我们在案发现场发现了他的指纹。
Can you imagine, like, not knowing what's going on and that just happens? And that's under the assumption that he might, like, with the possibility that he might not even have done it. Is that what the Hattie?
不管发生任何事情都不可能跟他有关系的。那没几条。
As sad as that is, that actually kind of like could be why he did it, like because he doesn't have a lot of time left. He maybe wants to make sure that his family is okay when he's gone. I'm hoping that's not the case. What I'm hoping is that maybe she gave him a bunch of it because he came and he asked for help, and then there was a fight unrelated to him between her and presumably her husband, but someone else about the fact that she was helping them.
就一不做二不休，把刀掏出来了，捅了他。完事以后，
Sir，
把他拖到冷库里去了，清理了血迹。 在2楼换了衣服就走了。
I don't believe him. Again, he doesn't have a lot of time left. He might feel it's worth it to take the fall for someone who actually did it if they paid him well enough and that money could go to his family.
曹家的情况我早就摸清了。
我劝你说实话。
Come on. I like that he's kind of doing it in the same style of the serpent face that he did it in the previous episode.
抢劫，你们看我这样，胰腺癌晚期，活不了几天了。
I mean, that could be your motive for taking the fall for someone else. I really like this art style. Come on, you both are thinking it.
筹谋未来的生活保障。我怀疑还有隐情，我想把他带回曹建家，让他重
And
演一
maybe
下
also just check his bank records.
需要你重现一下案发过程。
This is one way to try and catch inconsistencies.
那边。
What if he stumbled into the murder scene?
就这儿，然后我就在浴室把他捅死了。
What did you do with the murder weapon?
你现在演示一下，当时是怎么把刘娥的尸体搬到地下室的冷库的？
We're about to find out that his chemo doesn't leave him capable enough to do that kind of manual work for as long as it's needed.
我现在病态越来越严重了，身体不如前些日子。
继续。
2 days? I mean, to be fair, you could deteriorate really badly in 2 days. But don't think it's that likely.
是，就是我杀的。那上面还有我的手痕。
Yeah, just on the door.
我们在这个门把手上提取到你拇指的指纹。你到底在隐瞒什么？
I mean, you could guess who has the money to.
季军，季军，叫救护车。
Who's the money to pay him off? That's the next question. Because the motive explains itself. This man really likes his serpent imagery. That doesn't indeed look like the stuff of Hermes. I'm trying to think like what Hermes could represent, potentially. Maybe it's not that, maybe it's just the serpents, but like Hermes is the god of thieves, the god of messengers, god of travel. Thief doesn't feel quite right.
还是有人说，因为我很刘瑶，所以我把他给杀了。
说说看。
This man said nothing, and he just got the most interesting answers.
还不如说他想杀我，这还更合理一点。
This man is confessing all kinds of things just because he thinks people have already gossiped about him. He's not very smart for a businessman.
唯独只有这一幅，象征的是繁衍。您很想再要一个孩子？
If he overanalyzed me like that, I would stress.
你的观察力很好。
Especially if I had something to hide.
拱手送给他，他不要，他迟早啊。 要为他的天真而后悔的。
That's presumptuous.
陆晨我比较了解，在他身上确实嗅不到什么世俗的味道，就像您的追求。
The pride when Shinyi said that, I cannot. I need to watch that again. I'm sorry.
刘瑶已经死了，我个人追求什么，也没人能管得着。
My good sir, you are. Terrible, like even if you aren't guilty, you're terribly suspicious. Most people don't say that about their wives, even if they aren't in love with them anymore. Generally, you would think they care about them enough to not be like, oh, my wife is dead, so luckily now I don't have to stress about business anymore. It's all in my control.
我们一定会抓到凶手。
So interesting how differently Shinji approaches each person, considering how like emotional and emotionally he approached the previous guy, the theater troupe guy, versus how cool, calm, collected, almost saying nothing, allowing the man to potentially incriminate himself. That conversation was.
李涵刚才来消息，说他老婆拿了一包东西到警局。 咱们回去看看。
Damn, that's a problem because even if they can find out that he was bribed, they can't get him to talk about it now. So that's basically a dead end. I was about to say, did he cheat on his wife with the rich woman? She got pregnant and then the husband found out that it wasn't his baby. But not only would that be impossible to determine before the baby's birth, but also I just don't think, like, the kind of person who's willing to go down for murder for his family, I don't necessarily think he'd also be the kind of person to cheat on his wife. The two don't quite feel compatible to me.
这个也是他偷的。
It's possible that
可能他以前就去
it
过
was
曹振
given
家。
to him.
我查了当天的监控，找到了这段视频。
So maybe he helped someone and helped her.
那像是在故意。
是个公关，后来傍上了曹晓东，就辞职了。现在怀孕在家待产。
Oh, so what if I fooled
12号
around?
的下午
It's
3
not like
点，
anyone
曾
can
经撞
hold
车受
me
到惊吓，
accountable for
去医院
it.
保胎。这个是他资料，还有住院记录。
我感觉这个。
unless the wife ordered. Ooh, no, I'm way overthinking this, but I was like, unless the wife ordered him to do it and paid him with that, and then the husband found out and murdered the wife in anger, because he was like, I was about to have another baby that could have taken over the company after we're gone. Definitely not. I think what I just speculated maybe is a little bit too soap opera for reality.
你说怎么查？
Interesting space. That is way too similar to the layout at his home.
程队，这里有具损坏的雕像，看样子像是一只狮子。
Could have been how it was made. Art is weird like that.
周珊珊是你女朋友？
是啊。
Please tell me.
他担心我和我妈把他踢出去，我的孩子也会分家产，所以他雇人想害死我的孩子。
Interesting. Okay.
我觉得是他杀了我妈。
The way he keeps pushing the blame onto his dad is making him look less and less kosher.
我看这小曹总是不怎么喜欢他的。来，金牙同志，这是我的名片，拿着拿着，以后来这边定位记得找我啊。
He's very keen to gossip.
去吧。
北疆分局刑侦大队的画像师沈怡，
李涵，
画的挺好的。 结构非常稳定，色彩温馨明亮，能看得出来，
kinda similar to
你
one
的
of
确
the
对现状还
paintings
挺
that
满意的。
was hanging in the
这都
dad's
能看出来。
office.
曹家人对我也挺好的，我确实没什么可担心的。
I wonder if he
你的
kind
手
of
镯挺特别的。
小东他爸送我的，10几万呢。他们这家人这方面对我确实挺好的，给买了。
What does that feel like? An ownership thing? A secret ownership thing? And I don't mean ownership in the actual sense of the word, but more like oh, actually we're together, but my son doesn't know. But here's the thing that means I'm gloating in his face, and it's something I can kind of be happy about.
这个在曹晓东的会所里我见过，这能代表什么？
我觉得是刘瑶在用自己的方式宣示主权，但现在母狮断头。 他下面的碎屑，说明他刚被砸碎不久，所以，我推测，曹晓东和他母亲刘瑶的关系发生了变化。
Oh, interesting. I hadn't noticed.
程队，沈老师，我查到曹健投资过一家基因，所以我在想，要不要过去看看？
行，我和程队去吧。
好。
I'm speaking for Du Cheng. Isn't this the place of our not so good friend? Yeah, damn it.
你们认识？
Why are you throwing him into this without telling him ahead of
有一个
time?
案子。 我们查到曹健带着周珊珊
Sorry, my BL brain. There's a lot going on in that handshake.
你对他们是什么感受？曹健的家里有很多图腾符号。
I wonder
我们想了解一下
the girlfriend and the dad worked together to get rid of the
具体
mom.
是来做什么？我们查到曹健也是你的投资人，从这个角度，你有义务配合我们的调查。
They're the police. I'm pretty sure as long as they have a search warrant, the confidentiality clauses don't hold up.
你应该再遵从你的感受，继续下去。
I
你
don't
到底
like.
愿不愿意配合我们的调查？
Yeah, it's very interesting because Du Cheng is on the one side with Shini being like, we're police, you know, we need to go by the book, we need to make sure that we dot our I's and cross our T's. And then you have him here kind of encouraging Shini's more reckless side or more emotion-driven side.
可以说是天生的犯罪者。
伏羲女娲图。
That's interesting. Is that a thing? That feels fictional.
你可以试试把你在他们家的感受和你的推测相对应一下，说不定就知道答案。
I hate how evasive he is.
会扼杀他的直觉和想象力。我们应该劝他重新考虑对职业的选择。
Hello, you just met him. Can you please? It's so funny to me because usually you have the opposite problem where people are like trying to force a creative into a field that they don't want to be in because it's going to make more money or something like that. But here he's doing exactly that, but just opposite, where he's like, well, you're too creative. You can't be in this thing that you're clearly passionate about because it's gonna make the thing that I think you're really good at less of a priority in your life.
感谢你配合我们的调查。
Well done, Du Cheng. You're staying way more composed than I feel right now. The fact that he was okay with saying that in front of Xinyi is so disrespectful as well. Could you imagine your friend in front of you talking about you and like what they think you need to be doing with your life as if you weren't there and totally disrespecting your own autonomy? Whew. I don't like this man at all. Sorry. And again, it's a lot of how he says it, not what he says, because you can totally be like, I am worried about Xinyi. He seems very emotional when he is working as a police officer. I don't know if that's necessarily the best place for him and that it's the kind of pressure that he can withstand long term. That's coming out of a caring perspective. If you say, oh, you know, I don't want Xinyi to work in this field anymore because every single time he goes out and he comes back emotional, it makes me feel so uncomfortable. Same issue, completely different motives. So yeah, I really don't have a good feeling about him. Maybe he has good intentions and he just is very bad at handling how he deals with those intentions. But and again, he was being so evasive about the things. But yeah, I have to say I kind of like that this still, even though obviously it's still a serious case and there's a lot going on, it feels a little bit like a breather episode where the emotions aren't as high for Du Cheng and Xinyi. They're back to feeling a little more sedated, they're handling things by the book, Xinyi isn't getting too emotionally invested. It just feels much more composed than the previous episode, so I think that's why it feels like it's a bit of a breather. I do wonder because I feel like there's so many different angles that this could take. The fact that the lioness's head was destroyed could lend to the possibility that he murdered his mother and would, I suppose, underscore that idea of, oh, there's this genetic mutation that makes certain people more prone to violence. But I also can't help but feel like the dad is the one that got the girlfriend pregnant and that he's the one lavishing her with attention and the jewelry, and especially considering we just found out that it was the dad that bought her for testing. It just, something feels very off there, and it makes me wonder how close the son genuinely was with his mother. Because if I was the son and I found out, oh, my father is sleeping with my girlfriend and it's not my child, it's his child, then I don't think my automatic response would be to be angry at the mom, unless the mom okayed the husband sleeping with the girlfriend and she basically went and picked the girlfriend out for the husband, which is a kind of a grim thought. We left off with the guy that is obsessed with Shinee, that is getting on my nerves. We'll see if he plays further into this case. I don't think he's gonna, but yeah, I'm intrigued to find out. I hope you guys will enjoy it, and without further ado, let's get into it.
他在舟山山去检测基因，我觉得很有可能是为了自己。
你认识那个人？
The actual question that Du Cheng wanted to ask.
很熟吗？
算得上是一个朋友吧，在画展上认识的。他买过我的画。
A really bad friend.
那人感觉怪怪的，
怪怪的，哪里怪？
像我认识的一个人。
Me.
以前的你。
He is very much like an art student. Now that I think about it, thinking that there's only one correct form of art and his opinion is much more important than the general masses.
你们不会以为他也看上我了吧？拜托，有钱人呢，现在什么女人找不着。
Interesting that that's where your mind went.
曹健对这事儿发飙不是一次两次了。
Interesting.
我万万没想到，我曹健居然要绝后了。
So I thought it appropriate to sleep with my son's girlfriend.
我们是爷爷奶奶。
Okay, so that is.
所以说
interesting.
周珊珊肚子里的孩子，实际上是你的。
是啊。
I actually want to believe him, but then that might mean that I have to suspect the son, which would suck.
他觉得这是对他的一种羞辱，这怎么会是羞辱？这是我能想到的最两全其美的办法了。
What do you mean? Why? How is this? Does he actually want a kid? If the answer is yes, does he actually want his dad's kid via his girlfriend? Like, that's so messed up that it'd be stranger to find someone who is actually okay with it. And all just this just because you want a biological grandkid.
都已经到这种地步了。
Son.
警察同志，如果刘瑶真是他杀的，
'Cause adoption's option. Frickin'
那我也只能接受。
刚才在指认你的儿子曹晓东杀了你的妻子刘瑶。
I mean, to be fair, his son accused his dad, so it's not like he's the only one having interesting accusations. I just find it interesting because I feel like, on the one hand, the fact that the son has a gambling problem, that shows a potentially addictive personality, but the dad shows a much more obsessive kind of personality, at least from what we've seen visually. So at this point, I still feel like it could go either way with them.
他是一个神话生物，拥有狮子的身体、人类的头，还有鹰的翅膀。他被派往特派斯城，早晨走路4条腿，中午2条腿，晚上3条腿的深入式神。
Come on, you must have heard this already. I feel like everyone in the world knows this riddle.
这个男人就是俄狄浦斯。
I love how
弗洛伊德借助古希腊神话俄狄浦斯王创造了一个概念。
Shinnie's
俄狄浦斯情
art
节。
and stories.
你认为曹晓东有俄狄浦斯情节？
Didn't see that.
刘瑶家族殷实，刘瑶的心态也随之发生了变化。他有意地强化了曹晓东可以取代父亲夺回家产的潜意识。当这种欲望，
但我们在现场没有发现曹晓东杀人的证据。
Yeah, that is
整栋房子都已经筛过一遍了。
有手电筒吗？
That looks like it was painted by her. Is there a safe? What's going on?
是真正的文艺复兴时期，坦培拉颜料。 是用蛋清，还有色粉制成。
So, what are you saying? He hit his mother over the head with a painting? That would seem like the randomest weapon ever.
而且替换的时间不长。
所以那幅画一定还在这儿。
Okay, we're going on a treasure hunt. A very grim treasure hunt, but a treasure hunt nonetheless. So many paintings. They basically have their own gallery. Is it that one with the woman sitting? Was that done with the same knife that someone murdered her with? Presumably the son then?
你怎么来了?
If he is the murderer, I am very worried for her safety.
识相的话我就滚！曹总，你别为难我，曹总，滚！
I was about to say, if you're a decent human being, you're not taking that money.
滚！
You can't just leave her.
这么跟我玩？你以为你们得逞了吗？
Look, I don't care how much money that is. How are you just leaving this woman alone? Are you kidding me?
玩我！啊！
Come on, please, do Chung, please come and save her.
发现了刘瑶的血迹，还提取到了你的指纹。
周婶
Slash that after he'd already murdered her.
没有。
孩子呢？
也没有。
You want them to be dead, don't you?
否则，我所应得的都将被别人夺走。
It's very interesting because in this case, obviously no one deserves to have died for it, but
妈妈
none of these people are good people, I don't think.
跟你长相相似的、学历、性格都非常好的小伙子，让周珊珊尽快生孩子。
But wouldn't that kind of like backfire a little bit if it's the dad's DNA? Because then, doesn't it kind of mean that the child has, well, clearly I don't know how assets work. I'm just confused because it feels like if it's the dad's DNA and not the son's DNA, then how would the assets still end up benefiting the son instead of the dad?
我们对外就说是你喝多了玩的，这样谁都不会挑出什么毛病。
Especially if the dad knows, like that's the other thing to this.
别给我丢人。
谢谢，小曹总。
This family is messy as all hell.
喝这么多酒啊！酒味熏到珊珊怎么办？
Okay, I mean that's very unlikely in terms of normal things.
走了啊？
刘姨，你的带走吧。
好，你早点休息啊。
装
That's the cocky of you. The fact that you're not scared at all is
你休息啊！
concerning.
打死的，不然这个孩子生出来，就会多一个人跟你争家产。不行。
Okay, let's see if she's lying about not knowing that the dad has switched things, or if that's just what she's telling her son. Who wasn't willing to get rid of a baby? Like that is.
撞周珊珊是你让人做的吧？不是一辆车，说不要就不要了。他可是一个生命啊！
You're way too chill about this.
他什么都能干出来，但你不要在这个时候放弃，先接受这个孩子。毕竟对外，有钱才能有尊严呢，不许胡思乱想。酒不要再喝了。
No, people can have pride and not have mountains of money. Two aren't interlinked. So he got to that point potentially after he'd already had a few.
你要赶快生个孩子，分走曹家的财产吧。
Probably where the knife.
这孩子是曹家的，
就怪你爸太卑鄙，为了钱，他什么都能干出来。
Interesting. Can certainly tell how manipulative she was to him, probably for his entire life. And he's only now really seeing it. But still, that is not the answer.
你看看你这个样子是上什么？你看看你这个样子，你看看你这个样子，你看看你这个样子，你看看你这个样子，你看看你这个样子。
Damn!
小东，
说话。
周珊珊的孩子是我们的筹码。
Mom, now is not the time.
说什么？我还以为，就算全世界都背叛我，还有你会站在我这边。
Yeah, I think he would have preferred not to have all the money and still be able to trust his mom.
我才是那个。
Yeah, but clearly your son's trust is not more important to you than the fact that he needs all the money in the world.
让他跟你去美国。
Woman, like, you're dying. Can you stop plotting, please? What a strange relationship. Ah, that's where the fingerprints came from.
是你给的灵感。
It's really grim.
儿子仇视父亲，夫妻互相算计，这家人真够乱的。
You can say that
症
again.
结复杂人性，我想申请去探访一些重刑犯。
你做研究可以，但不能冒进。别忘了，你刚放下小红裙的心结。
Du Cheng has the right to be concerned, considering your track record, Shinyi. Oh my god, I love that he still has that up. The drawing from the end of the previous season, sorry. Some of these look quite creepy to me. Please don't end here. Oh, okay. Well, no, now we're back to visiting the guy I don't like, so never mind. I would have preferred if it hadn't. Sorry.
你怎么来了？难道你和我们做基因的一样，能看得到邪恶的种子？
I don't think people having
将
to
自然科学
understand how
引
it
入
could be
犯
a
罪学
slippery
研究，
slope.
在观察过成百上千个犯罪者之后，提出
And obviously
犯罪的
I'm not a
根本
psychologist, so I
取
wouldn't
决
know.
于生物学
Or
的
a
遗传的论
genealogist.
点。在我们人类基因学里，儿子有很大的概率会遗传到父亲的基因缺陷，
Yeah,
在
but
代
also
际中重复上。
environment matters.
成年的父新闻里看到了，警察这个职业很危险，
Interesting.
随时都有可能付出生命，愿意为突破边界往前走一步。
I don't think we're talking about the same thing here, and it's making me very uncomfortable. We already on to the next case?
看你们谁敢火化他！亮亮是被那个老女人害死的。他在哪儿？我要去见他。
23这样也解决不了问题啊！
You look close to death yourself, ma'am. Are you okay? That tattoo looks way too perfect, but anyway.
公交殡仪馆报案说，今
It was
天送来
a
一具年轻男性的遗体，
interesting beginning.
结果有一个自。
指甲干净，没有异物。
I mean, this is going to be difficult because he was just clean for cremation, so wouldn't that remove a lot of potential evidence?
我们亮亮这么年轻，他身体一直很好，绝对不可能是病死的。
Can you imagine having to hold your breath for
开具
those
了死亡
scenes?
证明，家属那边。
火化的女性叫林小英，她声称是苏有亮的未婚妻。
苏有亮的死亡原因是什么？
性猝死。根据120的反馈，他们到现场的时候，苏有亮已经没有呼吸了，因此他们推断苏有亮的死因是因为急性心肌梗塞而引起的性猝死。
那个安路人是谁？
是苏有亮的女朋友。经查证，120。
林小英说她是苏有亮的未婚妻，安陆然又说是他女朋友。
林小英为什么阻止火化？
又吃了壮阳药，并进行了激烈的性行为，之后引起的急性心肌梗塞。
Okay, so kind of like an accumulation of things.
如果不是通过特定的正规渠道，很难轻易获取啊。
If it's half a year ago, that'd be difficult to track.
安陆然在哪？
出国了。
出国了。
Oh, great.
他是华安医疗中心的理事长，报案之后就出差了。
Oh, so she could theoretically also get a controlled substance like that, couldn't she?
你去查一下这个苏有亮，他的生活情况，再排查一下他的人际关系。深夜。
Really left?
你明天跟我去找一下林小英和安陆然。好。
What was he distracted by? Tattoo? Okay, so we still have 6 episodes left, which means maybe we're gonna have something tie back into an overarching story, something that's gonna take a bit longer. So like this, the cause of his death will be solved, but maybe it's gonna come out that he wasn't as clean cut as you'd expect, and he's somehow connected to like a gang or something like that. They mentioned Shinyi having let go of the girl with the red dress, and even though on the one hand I'm glad, and it doesn't necessarily have to go further than that, the fact that they didn't catch that culprit, I do wonder if that's going to come back. And even though I don't necessarily think Shinyi meant it in that way, it did feel a little bit like when he was talking to the genealogist. I think that's what he is, right? But when he was talking to him, that he was trying to set up a bit of a boundary with him, not necessarily that, but he made it clear that he's achieved something that he's been working towards, which is driving him to continue, so he's not going to stop anytime soon. And it did look like that quite upset the genealogist, so I'm hoping that if this is a facade, if it's something that I should be worried about, the more Shinyi focuses on what he's trying to pursue, the more the cracks will start showing with the genealogist guy, because he didn't like being told that Shinyi was happy with what he was doing. That it didn't look like it. So, and again, the fact that Du Chung thought he was weird feels very validating to my paranoia. So we'll see. Maybe Du Chung is just jealous and I'm just paranoid. But very interesting case, very tragic, but also very strange. Like, I don't doubt that people and situations like this exist and existed, but it's still strange. I'm very, like, torn about how I'm feeling with regards to Shinyi at the moment. Obviously, I still love him, but I'm very worried about him. And just when I thought, okay, maybe, you know, I can relax a little bit with regards to the fact that the little red dress case has now kind of been settled in his heart. We still have the guy from the genealogy company freaking me out a little bit, so we'll see where it goes. I'm intrigued about the new case as well. I hope you guys will enjoy it, and without further ado, let's get into it.
那个应该是他公司新来的实习生吧？我就知道他这2天上班总是特别高兴。
最好带一些黑曜石，能帮你聚集能量。
谢谢你啊。
你们2位是想做什么？事业还是爱情？
Sorry,
我
but
们
the
是北
fact
疆
that
分局
like
刑侦大队的，想找你来了解。
it kind of looked like she was implying their relationship, not just you as in either of you's relationship.
一下苏有亮的情况。
你们愿意重新调查亮亮的死因了，请坐。
There's exactly 1 seat, ma'am.
我随便参观一下。
太好了。
So funny, she needed so flustered when she asked.
很多年了。
So maybe it wasn't just me making that assumption.
中学，但是那个女人，她就是个魔鬼。
Look, it takes 2 to tango.
是安陆然害死了苏有亮。
我算出来的。
That's gonna be difficult to prove in court. I would agree that the fact that the brother didn't communicate the burial plans or cremation plans of that guy to the parents is a little bit weird.
证明安陆然害死了苏有亮。
I mean, considering that he can't be persecuted because of divination, I think it's a fair question for Dutong to ask her.
警察同志，你们相信我，好好调查调查安陆然。
And I don't think they can just go on someone's word, though.
有什么进展，我们会联系你。
我很喜欢你这里的波西米亚风。
But that could imply something very sinister or very tragic with regards to like his
你们是
clear
我们是北疆分局刑侦大队。
Skull's death.
安姐。
I mean, he could also just be very edgy.
我们想找安陆然，
Generally, I feel like
了解一下苏有亮的情况。你知道他还有一个女朋友吗？
知道，林小音吗？
This is such a weird dynamic where both of them know, and yet both are like totally okay with it. If you're that okay with it, why, like, just go polyamorous.
你喜欢卡拉瓦乔的画？
他总是画身材好的帅哥，我当然喜欢了。
你把他的这幅画挂在这么显眼的位置，应该不以求得宽恕。
你也挺懂画的呀。
He would.
然后，我只是感受到了你在情感关系中喜欢做掌控者。
I mean，
你说的对。
我就有点好奇，苏有亮是不是做错了什么
？Whoa, okay. So I'm in a roundabout way still can accuse me of murder.
好了，警察先生，苏有亮已经死了。 你们如果对他的死还有什么疑问
？Maybe this is me being very cynical, but that felt very calculating. Like, oh, so my potential like act of naivete didn't get them to lower their guards around me. Let me mention the fact that I'm pregnant, because then you might feel pity for me again. And that's not to say that she is the murderer. She could just not like being predictable or feeling like she can be understood by someone that she just met. But yeah, that felt very calculating.
你们联系我的律师好。小陈。
Oh yeah, she definitely likes being in control.
宋克。
I like how Ducheng just trusts that whatever Sunyi's rambling about painting is, there's a point to it. He's right. I appreciate it.
查到毒源了吗？
于是我继而调查了凯莱研究院，发现他们有明确购买他的记录。
Oh.
随时准备抓捕。
好。
李涵，联系凯莱研究院，让他们随时准备配合调查。
I appreciate that even though they're like suspecting her, they're looking at all the
三叉戟代表惩罚
possible issues, not just narrowing their focus to who they think it is. What does it look like something else when it's upside down? Like when he's looking down at his chest like that?
我给你看个东西，保证让你不虚此行。好。
I know I just saw his name, but I still can't
曹建
remember.
南，这就意味着暴力行为会减少，情绪问题也会得到很好的控制。
And how
这是一次
exactly
很偶
did
然
he
的
do
成
that?
功。
防止信息泄露，还请各位当面阅读。确认后呢，我们要立刻收回。
当面阅读。
Okay, well then, I hope you're ready to pull an all-nighter, because that is really putting them on a time crunch. That doesn't feel okay to me because it doesn't allow them to revisit things if they need to. Like, for example, they might read through something now and think, okay, you know, this and this seems important, then find something else out later and need to like check back because they think they might have seen something but they're not 100% sure, and they can't do that. And the thing is, on the one hand, I get it, trade secret, very important, but this is the police. I understand that corrupt cops are not a fictional thing, but at the same time, it feels a little bit paranoid. I can't help but wonder if she's
我理解的这种自私，
natural
并非全部变异。
inclination to things that intrigue
很多有益的
him
基因也因此存留了下来，不
is
是吗？
gonna cause him trouble in this instance.
比如你，我们或许都是可以改变世界的人。
Oh, that's like tastes so strongly of a god complex. Take all your time, Du Cheng. Don't let them intimidate you.
不过，我想见一见方总。
I mean, you can
没问
just
题，
ask
我来安
Sunny.
排。
He's already there.
有些事真的很有趣，会发现很多意想不到的东西。
I'm really glad that Shinyi is not disclosing any information to him, because I would have side-eyed him like hell if that was the case.
杜警官，这次又有什么需要我配合的？我请沈毅来分享一下我的研
The
究进
volume spoken with that look.
有一件关于安禄然的案子，需要你配合调查。
有什么需求，我们都尽力配合。
好。
I don't like how this is set up,
去查一下实验室。
looking almost like a Shinyi against
这边
Du Cheng
请。
at this point. I think this is gonna be a test to see how strong Du Cheng
说实话，
and Shinyi's bond is, because
虽然我和安禄然不熟，
that reassurance kind of
但他身上发
gave
生
me
这种
hope,
事，
and I hope it's not false.
我不想进行道德上的评判。每个人都有选择自己生活方式的权利。微量
No wonder you have an
他
issue with
就我不
Shinyi
清楚，
working for the police,
但
because
绝
you
对不
don't
会是我的。
like judging people's
但我们
moralities.
查药都在他
Question
那儿
is
做
just,
实
is it
验。
because his own moralities are a little bit
我
skewed?
负责研发。
没有发现出入人员和记录不符的情况。
沈毅，走了。
The subtext is killing me. Not me wondering, like, how did he get here? Did he take public transportation instead of his bike? Come on, Du Cheng, talk to him. I can see you want to.
加上对彼此的研究也有一些帮助和鼓励吧。我们不会交流除此以外的话题。
I mean, he's not lying, at least from what we've seen.
如果有一天你的职业和你的探索产生了冲突，你怎么选？
我相信他们殊途同归。
That feels a little bit like a non-answer. But I think the important thing in this is Shinji's intention, because it's like saying, you know, what if one day a knife is used for murder? It's like, but I use it for cooking. Same utensil, different purposes. What are you thinking? The tattoo covered up a wound?
我当时还挺不乐意的，心想要不分手算了。不过没过多久，他就缓过来了。
具体是多久
？Wow, how nice of you.
我想知道另外一层纹身到底是什么。
How are you gonna do that?
主要是因为之前有过少量的铊中毒，导致身体机能的损坏，之后又服用了过量的壮阳药。身体机能的不真实原因。
Sorry, for a second, the strange creases there on the skull looked like letters, but I think I'm just seeing things.
主要是目的是为了将来用孩子做筹码，名正言顺地向你拿钱。
Wow, that is interesting. Having the guts to be like, oh, I think my boyfriend was murdered. Never mind the fact that I was planning to extort the woman that I'm about to accuse of his murder.
给我50万，我给你更刺激的。
Damn, just coming out right out and saying that.
苏有亮算个什么东西？把药给我！药！
Guys, her inhaler.
怎么样？效果大了，给他喷了药，这没事儿。
哎，
我觉得啊，刚才他听到骗他那
是牛血。
牛血。
Huh? Not my immediate thought being like.
神医刚刚来过，他认为苏有亮的纹身有2层，上面一层的骷髅覆盖了他原本，说他还要再确认一下，就走了。
Where did he go to? Shinji, communication. What? It was actually letters.
你今天来是
I don't think it.
是想跟你再了解一些关于苏有亮的事情。
I just wonder what her name is. I feel obviously they said it at some point, but I've completely forgotten it. Because if you take the U from his name, you take the An from the other woman's name, that would explain the YA. And if her middle part of her name starts with an M, then I feel like that is pretty strong evidence that maybe this isn't that simple, but it wouldn't make sense for him to basically have like a couple tattoo with the 3 of them if they're at odds like this.
但是让我更没想到的是，他居然为了追我，
是不是有点太过激了？
Yeah,
我觉得很浪漫啊。他说了，谁背叛对方，就惩罚谁。
She's just as intense, if maybe not more, than the other woman. Because by most people's standards, that's almost abusive.
这间店铺就是他赚钱给我租下的。他跟安陆然只是肉体关系，只是为了那100万。他再开一个诊所，我们就可以过上我们特别想要的日子了。
Okay, so she mentioned the fact that, oh, he got a tattoo for me. So clearly that is quite an important demonstration of his love for her from her perspective. Which makes me wonder if she found out that he was planning to have that tattoo covered and somehow organized the thallium poisoning during the tattoo process in like a display of anger and like getting back at him for betraying her by covering the tattoo. I don't know if that's a little bit far-fetched.
时间长了怎么办？
你肯定会离开我，你肯定会背叛我。
英，我答应你，我绝对不会背叛你。
Look, if someone feels that way when the things start, then
无论我在谁的身边
it's already a lost cause.
现在只有你一个人。
I can't figure out if he started out
只要我的
with
纹
like
身在，
ridiculous
我对你的承诺就永远都在。
justification but a good intention, or if he was just genuinely that manipulative from the start. Then again, all his other actions are quite manipulative.
是之前他爷爷留给他的药材原料什么的，你要看看吗？
可以看看吧。
Shinji, maybe don't touch random things that she gives you that is medicinal herbs that might include thallium.
你干嘛呢？小轩都跑到外边去了。
哎，你来的正好，坐。
你在干什么？
Just
什么味道？
smacking me in the face with a domestic vibe.
我在做实验。先给你讲个故事吧。几百年前呢，柏林有一名提炼胭脂虫头的工匠，后来他才知道，炼金术士提供给他的碱曾经被用来蒸馏动物用。最后，这个蓝色
何荣月在苏有亮的衣服上发现了牛血，
所以啊。
So what was he painting? Or was he making colors for his tattoos? Or
普
what
鲁
was
士
that?
蓝是他中毒的特效解毒剂。
Poor cat. He's like, okay.
你的意思是，并且还自己制作了普鲁士蓝作为他的解毒剂？
很有可能。
But if you know that you're poisoned, I guess you wouldn't necessarily report it to the authorities if you don't feel like you could prove who the poisoner is. But I feel like you would have, at least in the back of your mind, a potential idea of who was poisoning you. The fortune teller girlfriend was just vague enough in the way that she asked Shinji about it that I can't figure out if she asked to see if he's put the clues together or if she herself is genuinely
和草木
confused.
灰混合，这是我平常制作铜版画用的腐蚀剂，氯化铁溶液。
That means he might have
当
been
它和亚铁
poisoned
氰化
again
钾
or
反应，应该就能生成我们想要的沉淀物。
for the cow blood to be on it, the clothes he died in.
这连我都能做到，对于一个药学专业的学生来说，再简单不过。
That is a beautiful color. Damn it! Why did it have to end there? Another great episode, and I live for how they tie Shinji's knowledge of art into why he would know certain things, like the Prussian blue. Of course, it makes sense why he might know about the history of Prussian blue because he's an artist. It just like I don't know. I really like that there's all these connecting points in his knowledge. A lot of the weird facts that I know about subjects is related to the fact that I'm a writer, and at some point somewhere I was researching one thing and found out something else. So I just really like that keeps happening. It makes it feel so much more believable. And again, I'm very uncomfortable with the situation between Shinji and the genealogist. I don't know. I'm a little bit torn because like my immediate instinct is to be like, okay, I think the girlfriend might have had something to do with this because she knew about his grandfather's medicine box and things like that. And thallium is such a specific random thing to murder someone by or attempt to harm them by. And it's just strange enough that someone that is a little bit more into, you know, the mystical side of beliefs might know about it rather. But then again, the woman that's pregnant, she's in the medical field, so that's also believable. The only reason why I'm not immediately suspecting the girlfriend right now, and this is a very stupid reason, but is because she was like, oh, you seem very confused, you can come and get a reading from me. And I feel like we are gonna see Shinji get that reading, which means that she can't end up in prison unless she like gives him a reading while they're sitting for an interrogation, which is not completely out of the realm of possibility with the way that Shinji's conversations with suspects go. But yeah, I'm hoping that at the end of this, Shinji can just come out feeling stronger and more firm in his resolve of what he's doing, and that he won't end up being a villain, because he has the brains for him to be a terrifying one if he ever were to go that route. Maybe don't just go sniffing the raw chemical ingredients that you're not sure what they are, because that could actually burn your sinuses.
他身体不好了一段时间又恢复了，他明知自己被人投毒，为什么不选择报警？
Thank you. That was my question as well.
怀疑他在替凶手隐瞒。
他爱我爱得很坚决，还拉着我一起发誓，说不。
Yeah, that would make sense. Like if he genuinely
谁背叛对方，就惩罚
cared so much about her, then he might have like thought, oh, this is what I deserve, so I'm just gonna keep quiet about it and try and save my own life, but not make a big deal out of it.
我明天想去找林小莹再聊聊。
行，大家分头行动。
I appreciate that he actually communicated that to.
那我们直接开始。
好。
Okay, so we might have both of what I was wondering, like the reading and her still being the murderer.
不许停。由左至右，依次挑选3张，代表过去、困境和行动。
He has such an innocent face. Oh my goodness.
双子座，现实问题，他们因此而产生困境，因为钱，他们感到迷茫。
When is she gonna clock onto the fact that he was asking about her and
为爱前行
her boyfriend?
披荆。
我想算算这个女孩。
好。
Oh goodness, she knows.
没关系，慢慢写。
See, he looks so unsuspecting, and then he smiles like that, and you're like, oh my goodness, he knows too much.
这3张牌是什么意思？
我状态不好，今天不算。
我来说。
Oh goodness.
这张牌，这个女孩很可能被欺骗。
Interesting. Okay. Huh. The girl might have been deceived. Because my entire thing is, if she had murdered him, it'd be totally counterintuitive to be the one to draw attention to the fact that he was murdered, unless she has a guilty conscience and she feels responsible for it, but she's not the only one responsible for it. So like maybe, for example, and I kind of hope that's not the case, but if the medical professional woman convinced her to help her get rid of her boyfriend to ensure that she could still pursue her dream. So she did it, but now she like can't live with herself.
找不到什么好工作，他要是跟了安陆然，我工作、结婚的房子不就都有着落了吗？
Oh wow！
而且我见过那个安陆然，所以我们就劝他真心实意的对安陆然好好过。
那林小英是怎么知道这件事？
So I get together with this man and suddenly I'm responsible for his entire family's wealth.
你不是说你不懂这个吗？你骗我！
我确实不懂。 而且我也根本不信，我只是在说事实。
什么事实？你们没有证据。
And that was the exactly wrong thing to say.
你们去我家了。
为什么要下
So I murdered him. That's a sure way to lose him.
就因为他变了真心。让原本受损的身体承受不住压力，才导致了猝死。
So she poisoned him only once and didn't think there would be long-term damage caused by what? Like, I'm trying to understand her logic. It's not logicking. I mean, you probably should have just broken off with him when he originally came up with the idea, so he could do what he wanted to do, and you could.
好，明白。苏有亮的家人已经准备安排火化了。
程队，那我们是不是可以结案了？
有一点我一直没想明白，他们2个一整晚都在一起，他居然没有发现，这不是很奇怪吗？
So she allowed him to die. Can you guys believe that though?
那李涵，麻烦你再帮我查一下，当天晚上安陆然家附近的监控。
I like for once it's Du Cheng not letting this go and not Shinji. Usually it's the other way around. A coat? A coat stained with blood? With cow blood? Sorry, I'm looking at it. It looks pink on the one side.
这边有渔村、泳场、集装箱民宿区，监控盲区比较多，不能确定后来去了哪。
Shinji call if not Du Cheng?
海滨派出所刚报来一个重要线索，就在宿有不少头头客已经配型完来提取骨髓的，当天来回，像是个黑市。
Okay.
走，去海滨侦查一下。
好。
Shinji, not using your bike. Sorry, I keep forgetting that it's more safe in other places than South Africa to be biking in the middle of the night. Interesting place for you to be this late at night.
走得快点，手上活小心点。越忙越累。
Did he find out what she was doing and was trying to blackmail her for more information? For more money? So when he had the heart attack, she just decided to do nothing. Why does it sound like Shinji is freaking gonna walk himself into this? This man finds all the trouble always. She with why are you closing the door?
还是在等谁？
谢谢啊，是。
Please tell me Du Cheng will recognize Shinji's bike being left there and because is that no, that wouldn't be right.
汤可以。
Open the door before it auto locks again.
请你把门打开。
Hurry up!
我约小唐找个安静的地儿闺蜜夜话也不行吗？
Shinji, like if you had not gone ahead, she might not have been so quick to come up with a story. He's like actively, accidentally sabotaging them.
因为我查看了一下当天急救人员携带的记录仪，发现了这个。
Communication, Shinji.
安陆然的
One more word.
是春天。哦，我是骑车来的。
He has a bike rack.
装我车上。
Guys, I'm fine.
我以后再也不指望你敲门了。
我看您刚才在忙。
行了，说正事儿吧。市里边有个大案，查幕后深层次的刑事犯罪。
Oh, great. Let's hope it ties back to that woman, because otherwise it's going to be very unsatisfying that was never resolved.
把这些都给我。
Is he allowed to?
这些都是保密的。
Yeah.
你不能拿走哦。不过，你可以在这儿看。好。
Conveniently finding a reason for you to stick around here. You're just gonna stand there? It's so weird. I can't figure out why I have such a mistrust of this man, but I can't let it go.
要紧紧地抓住华安医疗中心的重点线索，深挖细查，错综复杂，盘根错节。所以大家在工作中
都是由华安医疗中心来临床实验的，两个机构合作非常紧密。
I'm struggling to follow all these names, but it seems like this involves both the woman that yeah, and then maybe also our genealogist guy.
是我们接下来调查的突破口。那么巧，唐小姐，
在我们研究院门口偶遇，应该没那么巧吧，杜警官？
能简单聊两句吗？我希望你可以配合我，给我们提供一些线索。
I mean, if she's part of it, I doubt she's likely to.
其他事情我一无所知。
And yet you were at the place where they potentially smuggled organs 2 seconds before that.
闺蜜的关系，你应该也不希望他们因为你而伤心。
Oh, he hit right at the pressure point. Damn.
雪崩的时候，没有一片雪花是无辜的。
That's a beautiful,
我希望你可以考虑一下我
grim sentiment.
这是我的号码，有什么消息，希望你可以联系我。
Sometimes you forget how badass Du Chong can be, and then he pulls something like this, where he's like, he's nice, but he's not lenient. That sounded like a criticism. It was a compliment.
我不管你是偷是抢还是去骗，条件就是这样。拿到手了，你跟我走。我当初允诺你的那些待遇还有权利，只会多，
Mr. Feng is the
Chinese
guy, right?
你也能放开手脚。说不好听，你在他眼中就是一堆基因代码。
Damn. Well, it's not like you're much better. You just view her in a different way, but you still don't view her as.
想想你干的这些事儿，真出事儿了，他能帮你挡吗？他挡得了吗？
You still don't view her as anything other than a useful
他做
tool.
事特别谨慎。反正集团的情况就是有今天没明天，我
Why
们
do
必须
they
争
care
分
so
夺秒。
much about that?
这些核心数据就是
The
我们
embryo
重新。
also. So what? Would that be what the woman in like 2 cases ago was after, the one who had the girlfriend get pregnant with her husband's baby?
你的命运掌握在你的手，我的未来也掌握在你的手里。
I feel like that's not quite accurate.
我该说的都说了。
But maybe I'm giving her
我
too
先走
much
了。
credit for how manipulative she is.
那你休息吧，你们跟我去。
好的，老师。Do you really think it's gonna be that simple? Wouldn't there be cameras here or something? I feel like this is either gonna show me that I was right about the being worried about Mr. Feng and he's about to murder her, or it's gonna prove that I was completely worried for nothing and just looking for a reason to dislike him. And it's not gonna turn into a horror movie.
以我对他的了解，他不会把核心的文件放在这台电脑里。
Ah, okay.
谁让你来的？
啊，我帮方老师。
是安陆然吗？
Yeah, no, you're not gonna fool him with that.
上次在集装箱的时候，你应该知道，他让你这么做是犯法的吧？
沈老师，你能不能不要告诉方老师？
我能看得出来。放弃吧。
Yeah. Don't let your guard down to me. My question now is, did Shinji intuit that on his own and wait to see if something would happen? Did he and Du Chung decide to have him wait there just in case? Or did he do that as a favor for Mr. Feng? I don't know why. It feels important to me why Shinji decided to wait there. Because, I mean, it could very easily just be him having a good intuition as usual. I just feel like Shinji's decisions this season have really been very focused on like his own mission and not really considering the impact that might have on the police force and like Du Chung by extension. And we saw that obviously very clearly with the incident where the hydrogen tanks were involved. And then Du Chung kind of like berated him about it, and I thought things would get a little bit better, he would communicate more, and there were instances of it, but it hasn't been like a completely fixed trait. And on the one hand, that is more believable. Like, if you try and be better about it, you're likely to struggle to get out of the habit of doing things on your own. So it, in that sense, it does feel believable. But if that incident with the hydrogen cans wasn't enough to scare Shinji into like making drastic change, I'm worried that there is going to be something else that happens before the end of the show where there's going to be a lot at stake, and it's not going to be surrounding Shinji. I think it's going to be something that Shinji is going to feel guilty over. We are so close to the end, it's kind of terrifying. And I'm just realizing this. Oh no, now I'm sad. Anyway, I'm excited to see where this episode goes. It does feel like things are going to be ramping up. I wouldn't be surprised if this is kind of the final case that we're dealing with and it just takes 4 episodes to deal with, because I feel like there's a lot of different layers to this potentially. We'll see. I hope you guys enjoyed, and without further ado, let's get into it. I'm surprised she doesn't have a backup plan for if she couldn't convince her to do it.
你一直都在利用我，现在还要被你要挟。
Oh goodness, are you about to die? Yeah, I'm genuinely worried she's conveniently gonna fall off the roof. Which might make it look like she did it from overconsumption. Sorry, I'm assuming there was music in the background that's cut out, which is why the echo is so intense.
安伦只要一走，他就不会牵扯到其他事儿了。
Interesting. That implies that he has something that needs to be left alone, in the sense of like he has something that she is holding over his head.
够了。
Yeah, he seems more interested in Shinji than you, I'm sorry to say.
我做的这一切都是因为你，都是因为你。
That's not a normal reaction. look, I don't like the man, but it's not his fault if you decided to go and do something to be together with him without his consent or knowledge.
只有他能帮你。
I wonder if that's gonna come into play in some way. I don't want to say it, but I wonder if she's gonna commit suicide and he's gonna be blamed for it because of the blood from when he picked that up. I'm hoping that's not the case. Maybe I should stop waiting for the other shoe to drop.
你想画什么？我想画星空。
Oh, that feels more romantic than what I was expecting from you, sir.
好像没有几个不亚于星辰的运行。沃尔特惠德曼的诗。
It sucks that I have such a bad taste in my mouth for this man because I think in moments like these you can really see how beneficial the relationship is to both of them, because there's certain things that they can only really talk to each other about and that others don't necessarily always understand as clearly as they seem to understand each other's perspectives in this. But again, I don't like the man, so it just
像宇宙的黑洞，深不可测。
That's a really cool way to view it.
我很想知道你的星空是什么样子。
Guys, this feels way too romantic.
一片混沌。
Like this legit feels like
可能也映射了我
a love triangle setup.
灰色，复杂的。
I actually quite like this because it shows how being a police officer can really change your entire worldview. And I think it's more common than people like to think about.
而习性经过千万年的发展，已早已刻入基因。珍惜那
This music.
走，画星空去。
I'm deeply unsettled by what they might find once they go to his house, but seems we don't have to worry about that, okay? Oh wow, that's beautiful.
而唐可盈是直到半个小时之后才走出小区，打车离开。目前监控看不出有什么异常。
Okay, hold on.
走出小区，打车离开。目前监
Okay, so she left alive. That is good to know.
控。
在他失联前，方凯一是他最后见过的人。
Not me like wondering if Shinyi is late for work. I mean, it's worth a try. Imagine stressing out about nothing and then you could have just called them.
方先生，
The way he said that while looking at me.
你知道唐可盈在哪里？
Again, from the love triangle perspective, that would have looked like jealousy.
他是不是去过你的住所？随便看看。
He didn't clean that up, so did she?
请坐。
For someone who's only learning to draw now, according to the way he spoke to Shinyi, he has a very
唐
nice
可盈在
set
11:30
of
到11:40
coloring
这段
tools.
时间，你们起争执了吗？没有。
Oh,
那里原本有个玻璃花瓶，不小心打碎了。
sir, I was starting to give you the benefit of the doubt here, despite my dislike for you. Now, the fact that you're lying about really stupid things makes all my distrust in you return.
那他有没有跟你提及过，之后他会去哪？
If you guys didn't argue, why did she leave after you?
情况我们了解了，感谢你的配合。
不客气。
Oh, you can see all the like frustration in Du Cheng's face. Shouldn't he go after him? For all Shinyi's emotional intelligence generally, like, there are moments where I'm like, you don't think maybe there's something for you guys to discuss? Maybe he has some things he wants to ask you about with regards to that? Like the fact that you were asleep for a decent amount of time. He could have left and come back. Obviously, you would hope that he wouldn't have something that he did after you were asleep. But there's no guarantee.
有渔民提供线索，见过唐可英昨晚2点左右走进一艘废弃的渔船。
Yeah, that's late enough that like Shinyi probably would have been asleep.
所以不知道他的去向。凌晨4点半，监控拍到他从滨西路折返回了研究院。
Now it's gonna look like Shinyi lied instead of there just being clarity on the fact that he fell asleep. I'm hoping that Shinyi will stop being a little bit more. Really?
我没想到他竟然会这么想，以至于他会失态。
Interesting framing.
我难道不需要确认一下你跟这件事情的关系吗？
Yeah, the fact that he respects you enough to not ask in front of Du Cheng, which would have immediately set Du Cheng off into a more firm interrogation.
我觉得安陆然一定给他施加了很大的压力。况且他
I
没有
just find it interesting that when she arrived at the beach and when he left without telling Shinyi coincides. I was expecting him to say things a little bit more vaguely, like he seems like the kind of person who would bend the truth instead of just outright lying. So like saying, oh, I didn't hurt her when she was here. But that kind of being, yeah, I didn't hurt her when she was here, but I went after her afterwards. You know, that kind of circumventing the truth. But he didn't do that, so...
唐可英要偷的东西到底是什么？
That's a fair question.
甚至得不到的情况下，还有可能对唐可英不利，所以你现在必须要对我坦诚。
Yeah, because he wouldn't
关系
want
到
to
唐可英会遭遇什么。
aid someone doing something illegal.
向人类胚胎基因编辑的核心数据。
I don't know if I'm understanding this correctly, but if I am, that is kind of horrifying. So, genetically modifying children while they're still embryos, is that what I'm getting? AKA eliminating that one gene that they say is contributing to criminal personalities. That's a very grim idea.
以大部位植入人体才是犯罪。
Now the fact that that woman is pregnant is starting to look a little bit more suspect. I don't like how he's focusing on technicalities in order to make it be legal, because just because something is technically legal doesn't mean it's morally ethical.
知道了。
I'm hoping Shinyi is starting to see the dangerous situation he might be in. Because that understood seemed more like a, oh, I think I understand you now.
在上面提取到了还没有完全挥发的氰化物。
Damn, okay.
能提取到人体组织吗？
有的话应该可以。
That escalated real quick.
为什么？根据洋流变化，如果凶手选择了抛尸大海，那么唐可盈的尸体。
Those are some big boats, damn.
这些车印儿都是3轮摩托车和附近工地的砂石土方车留下的。
Oh, beautiful scenery, my goodness.
沈先生，来找安姐。呀。
That's her nail.
我女朋友的。
No, that is.
沈警官怎么来了？
Number one, that I was about to say number one, that's a sedan, but that was her nail, so that just adds to my stress.
我也没听清，接起来都是乱七八糟的杂音，我以为误拨了，就没在意。
But never mind the fact that she was with me.
要是我当时回拨过去就好了。那没事，我先走了。啊，有小唐的消息，第一时间告诉我。
Yes, please, so that I know whether or not the person I murdered is.
这就是唐可盈工位上的东西，辛苦了。
This is so frustrating because I feel like they have all the clues to point to her as a suspect so that they could get to her more quickly. But Shinyi not letting Du Cheng know is delaying that potential connection.
好像有点印象，我真的没注意。
Well, I noticed them because they actually look really nice. So yeah, I'm glad Shinyi also noticed. One of them ripped out or what? Was something written there?
你冰箱里有汽水？有啊。
I can't decide if he's gonna do some kind of weird experiment with the soda or if he just wanted to get him away because he doesn't actually trust him as much anymore. That's a lot of animals who don't look very well treated. Are you, like, prepared for someone to potentially attack you? No. That wasn't him grabbing it. Who's gonna bludgeon him? Oh, okay. Is that Shinji? Yeah.
是人的。
Did they bake her? What the hell? And here's me just going at it with a pencil, but I guess if it's not done heavily enough, it wouldn't have worked.
何荣业那边已经确认了，死者就是唐可盈。
真的是他。
我们顺着唐可盈的行踪查到。
我女朋友的。我昨天见到唐可盈的时候，她似乎带着单口锁的
And
传
again,
动夹。
if you had just called
会有这么巧吗？
Du Cheng with this, you guys might have gotten to them before they had even more chance to dispose of evidence.
结合我们在废弃渔船内提取的药剂，怀疑还是药物致死。
What kind of animal shelter casually has, like, who does she know where they could have just casually done that?
你知道吗？
不知道。半夜，我都睡着了呀。
谁能证明？
小陈能证明。
Heaven, what will I do? I'm being framed.
睡着我还不太放心，就在房间的躺椅上睡的。
你确定？
我确定。
Yeah, no, that's not the look of someone who just happens to have an alibi.
去了。
我杀的。
That was quick. Because it was so quick, I'm struggling to believe that he wasn't just paid off to take the blame.
完蛋，看不惯。
Yep.
所以就
Wow. That is the weakest excuse ever. For someone who looks so rattled by the reality of what he helped accomplish the night before, I don't think he's the type to just casually murder someone because they annoy him. Not to say that he can't aid and abet, but that seems like a pretty weak motive for someone who is this shaken up by it.
跟别人没关系，人是我杀的。
程队，
No,
我查到
stop.
吴斌本来有严重的
That's
遗传性
his
贫血，
insane.
是方凯一开发的基因疗法，是方凯一开发的基因疗法治好了他。
Oh. So he might have a motive to protect Mr. Fang.
老家的人可以证明，目前是这样。
This is indeed getting very complicated.
我们还查到案发当晚，他除了跟安陆然有过通话，跟方凯义也通过话。
Interesting.
李涵查了监控，方凯义在凌晨2点到4点半离开过凯莱研究院。
Thank you for finally telling him.
同时，
我昨晚一直在他的工作室，他跟我一起在画画。
Yeah, but you slept. When
你
did
确
you
定
fall
昨
asleep?
天晚上方凯义一直跟你在一起？
What was it? His ghost who passed in front of the security camera?
那幅画有问题。
Well, whatever helps you come to the realization that there might be more to this
我们查到
than
你
meets
除
the
了给
eye.
安陆然当不固定，有活就干，算是私活吧。之
You
外，
seemed very
你刚才说这个私活
eager to
都
deny
包括
that.
什么呀？人家是大老板，怎么可能会跟我有私交呢？
The more you talk, the more convinced I am he does have something to do with this.
把人的尸体处理掉。
为什么找他呀？
And he didn't think to mention this at all. Like, call me crazy, but if something as insane as, oh, my one assistant disappeared after what seemed like a very distressing conversation where she was with someone that I seem to consider quite dangerous, and then I get a call from a mutual contact asking about the cremation of a human body, that might jump out at me as weird, even if there is a perfectly reasonable explanation for it in hindsight. I'm gonna mention it to the police because everything will just be screaming alarms at me at that point if I'm innocent.
文化什么都懂。
你刚才不是说你们俩关系不近吗？
Yeah, you like, oh, I'm not close to this man, but I'm gonna ask him how do I get rid of the body.
他就没有问你为什么要问这个问题吗？
问了。
Well, while we're at it, did he say that the sky was green? How many more suggestions of conversation topics are you gonna take?
唐可英是我杀的。
So you are so suspicious for the completely wrong reasons. And not in the way you want to be. Shouldn't you stop freaking approaching people who could be murderers, please? That is a beautiful painting. It sucks that it belongs to someone I don't trust at all.
浓茶你能喝吗？
Oh my word, is he about to have like a reaction to the tea?
我没有必要为了报恩。 扛下杀人这么大的罪。
I'm less likely to believe him now just off the bat, even though, like, I don't at all trust Fang Ke, but he did lie through his teeth just now, so I want to hear all of it before I start to believe him potentially.
昨天晚上方凯义，
那你到了船屋，你没有见到方凯义是吗？
没有。
Well, that doesn't prove that he murdered her, it just proves he was somehow involved.
我当时都吓懵了。
有唐可英的消息了吗？
Stress. And we're right at the end of the episode. Of course we are, because, like, they cannot just leave us on a not stressful end. So, for the love of all that is holy, please don't just confront him. The amount of self-doubt that might sprout from this because Shinyi didn't see it coming, though, is concerning.
把事情都解释清楚，
So I think they did a good job of kind of like lulling me into almost a false sense of security there, where I was genuinely starting to doubt whether or not all the feelings that I had about this man was just me being very rude to him. And maybe we're gonna find out that actually he was just an accomplice and he wasn't actually the murderer, but there still has to be a lot of questionable morality for you to even be an accomplice in something like this, especially if he was a distant accomplice. Because I feel like, how should I put it, if he had been at the scene when she was murdered, I could see him being the type of person who, once in that very specific situation, just goes along with it, covers his butt, and does what he needs to do to try and get free of the situation. But if you're not directly involved in it and you're aiding and abetting someone without even like really being forced to, like you're not in the direct situation, no one's holding a gun to your head, you just are helping woman, whatever her full name is, because she has blackmail material on you, for example. For some reason that feels a little bit more intense to me, like that feels more deliberate, like you had time to think about this and you still chose to go through and be this person's accomplice. So even if he isn't the actual murderer, it's not like this isn't a really bad look for him. I'm just wondering what he sees in that painting that makes him hope that there is something to clarify and not that he is staring in the face of a murderer. So we'll see, but as I mentioned, I am a little bit worried about what this could do to Sydney mentally, emotionally, because he was finally at a point where he was like, I predicted this, I was able to help the police because of my ability to analyze this person's art. And yet here he was lulled into a false sense of security with this man. He didn't see it coming, and he had to look at that art twice before he could maybe see something wrong with it. And I don't know if that, I feel like that could be a massive knock to the emotional progress that he's been trying to make with this. Can't believe how close we are to the end of the show. I'm so sad about it, but I'm really intrigued to see how all of this resolves and just kind of like how far this extends in terms of the experimentation, the illegal things. I can't remember the exact word for it, but yeah, the organ, there we go, the illegal organ trade. So yeah, I hope you guys will enjoy it. Without further ado, let's get into today's video.
确认了氰化钠和麻醉剂的成分，而这些麻醉剂是属于凯莱生。
I'm just realizing, and it was very stupid of me not to consider this as a possibility at the end of the previous episode, but that the woman, Miss Ann, whatever her full name is, that she could have very well told the sedan driver to frame him if the cops end up discovering or suspecting that he is not actually the killer. He is still suspicious to me. The way that he just reacted to finding out about her death doesn't sit quite right with me. So just because of everything leading up to this, I don't want to believe that he's just being framed, but it is a very distant possibility.
我怎么画都画不出来。于是我想去海边看看真正。
Oh yeah, you just happened to go to the very place where she also went.
找灵感，唐可盈的死，我也很震惊和痛心。现在有人指认你舍却凡养的宁负一口。对不起，把话说清楚点。
He's saying
虽然我一
that
直认为
he turned against
人情生
him.
来就是恶，吴斌因为你拒绝了，才诬陷。对，这完全是无稽之谈。
It's plausible.
蒋峰，你那边查怎么样？
My question is, what did Xinyi see in the painting that made him ask that of Feng Keying? Because if he saw some kind of like chemical reaction in the paint that he inferred could prove that the paint came in contact with salty air or something like that, which would show he was at the beach with the painting, that'd be good to know. If it's more on the like emotional psychological side of him seeing something in the painting that kind of potentially indicates Feng Keying's guilt, that would also be good to know.
不排除他们两个有肢体冲突的可能。
Yeah, and it's possible that she dropped that one in order to like misdirect attention because she saw Xinyi see Tang Keying's.
安姐，
你跟着我也有10几年了，
You're
我
about
身
to be
边最
murdered.
信得过的也就是你。
你
She
说这名
really
穿戴
asking
甲
her to be a full
是你女朋友
guy?
吗？是。
我不懂，别人的东西我不认识。
Yeah, but this has nothing to do with women accessories. It has to do with the DNA on those. Can you imagine if there's nothing really to it? They're just seeing what his reaction is.
安陆，我说。
Okay, let's hear it. The third version of the story.
好的，安姐。
That still doesn't explain the phone call to Mr. Fang.
什么叫不跟我走？2个警察说了，我是受你唆使，有戴罪立功的机会。
How does he know all of this?
安姐，我现在只想拿到钱，你给我钱，我立马离开北疆。
不行，我。
That's intense. Why are you not attacking her? Oh! That was a lot. That was a lot. So technically it wasn't Andy who killed her. Technically it... Both of you. Never mind. Both of you. I feel a little bit ill, not gonna lie. That was very intense.
一个是救命恩人，一个是你的金主，你究竟忠于谁？
Because he is so unreliable at this point. He has accused technically 3 people, if you include himself. I guess it's technically possible that they could have called Mr. Feng in order to make it look like he was the guy who instigated this. But how would he know to go to the beach?
可惜，他没上钩。
He didn't fall for it.
我已经把我所有知道的事情都跟你们说了，不相信你们可以去查。
Maybe that's a mistranslation. It sounds strange. Because surely you would say you didn't fall for it. Like, oh, unfortunately the police didn't fall for it. But here it sounds like, oh, unfortunately Mr. Feng wasn't fooled into thinking he murdered someone. You know, it just sounds a little bit odd.
就推断吴斌真正忠诚的人，不是安陆人，而是方开义。
That
但是我想，
must have been very hard to, I don't want to say decide on, but like, obviously I think Xinyi wants Mr. Feng to be innocent. So to get to a point where he's acknowledging that he thinks it is Mr. Feng must have been a very hard thing to do.
抓到安陆人， 一切都清楚了。
They balance each other out really well. Because they're good sounding boards for each other.
安陆然手机关机。
安陆然跑了，通知所有人，速夺整个会所。是。
And this is how we get to 2 more episodes. I was wondering, everything felt like it was wrapping up really quickly.
我们晚了一步。督察，方凯怡的那幅星空是有问题的。一幅画，
Thank you for
前后有2种完全不
communicating
同的
this.
情绪和风格。我猜测，应该就是他从海边回来以后，他的笔触就开始突然发生了巨大的变化。
It's possible that he wasn't
我们已经
technically
查明
involved in
华谊医疗中
the murder, but he was called there by Miss An, and after seeing the body, that like drastically affected him, which makes sense. But that would only work if Miss An has blackmail material on him that would force him to keep quiet about it.
这都怪我，去得太晚了。
跟你没关系。
No,
他用保姆假扮自己，我相信安陆然是急急忙忙出警，不可能把所有东西都藏好。
是不是？
It's a fair point.
沈老师怎么没来开会啊？
不知道。
Dude, you look worried, and that makes me worried.
为什么要放假？你再给我点时间，我一定能把整个事情都弄明白。
不用想，这个案子跟你没关系了。
Guys, you're so well-intentioned from both sides, and it is just gonna tear you apart if you don't communicate better. The thing is, on the one hand, I'm like, maybe it's a good thing that he takes a break now, gets a chance to clear his head, and maybe even see things from a different perspective. But on the other hand, it could just make things worse for him, because he would still be obsessing about it, but he would have the added frustration of being completely removed from it, not knowing what's going on, and maybe obsessing about it even more because of that. So it really could go either way. I don't think this is necessarily the best idea, but I understand Du Cheng's intentions.
最后才说是安陆然，这一切都是为了给安陆然逃跑争取时间。
I mean, that is a distinct possibility.
我哪次没有查到底？即便你的
I
灵
hate
感再
this
匪夷所
beautiful
思，
frame.
我都
Like,
选
I'm sorry, look at the divide. The art on the one side, the police on the other, and then the divide between them. How much more clear cut can you make the perspectives that they are coming from? It pains me.
你的直觉可能会对99次，但哪怕错1次，我都承受不了。
Damn, that's painful. Sorry, they seem to have cut out the music here. Thanks, I hate it. This is painful. You can't believe that's his wake up. Like, how is that not a coupley thing? How do you interpret that as anything else, like anything just friendship related?
而且最重要的是，陪同出境的人是唐可盈。
真是华安的
So
联络人。
suddenly, Mr. Feng has a motive again. Because she was involved with his project. And that's like in the very specific case of it being related to the things that could be illegal if you just step over this one very specific line real quick. Oh, brooding artist pose. Or I fell asleep in a very uncomfortable position pose, I'm not quite sure.
有段时间没见了。
A part of me really doesn't want him to be spending his free time with this man, but on the other hand, I'm like, maybe it'll help.
那2个小时，到底是什么事引起了你这么大的情绪波动？ 所以你现在还觉得人是我杀的是吗？
Gaslight 是你 potentially。
我是，你把我当成什么人了？我当你是朋友。
Not explaining anything. You're being very evasive.
这件事跟你有没有关系？
The thing is, if he were innocent, wouldn't the logical thing just be to answer, I don't know what you're seeing in that painting. There's nothing to tell. But no, he's not trying to give any answer for what Xinyi's question actually was.
我追求的根本就不是利益，我为什么要违法犯罪？
For the sake of humanity?
我当然可以告诉你，唐可盈的死跟我一点关系都没有。
That took you very long to say. And you're still not filling in that gap for Xinyi.
你有没有想过，有一种可能，是你的职业让你怀疑一切？
I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Because the thing is, under normal circumstances, I might actually agree with him just a little bit with regards to Xinyi having become quite cynical. I think it's part of the job. But unfortunately, because of who is saying it, I don't completely trust it. Because this man has not liked Xinyi's occupation since the day they met. So it's very convenient for him to suddenly use all of these things that he knows Xinyi feels a very specific way about to shield Xinyi's scrutiny, like to cover up and redirect Xinyi's scrutiny onto Xinyi himself.
但你有没有想过，你的直觉可能会对99次。
He's counting on Xinyi's self-doubt here, I feel.
但也请你对得起这份信任。
I don't like it at all. I'm stressed. And now Xinyi is removed from the case for at least 2 weeks, so any new information that might make him be cautious and make sure that his safety remains safe is not accessible to him. Also, the hypocrisy of this man being like, oh, you know, I'm gonna make you doubt yourself, but please continue to do the study here in my lab where I can keep an eye on you. Into the very thing that I just scolded you about.
将编辑过的胚胎植入人体，在我们有生之年，或许都是违法的。
Please don't volunteer yourself.
你怎么提前来了？
我们刚好在附近，就先过来了，想让你帮他检查检查，我才放心。
几个月了？
快8个月了。
你们今天来
Time flies.
老曹说我这个宝宝很优秀，很强壮，以后一定不简单。老曹希望他以后可以继承家业。那我就希望他结婚了。
哦，
我现在是他的合法妻子。
That's awkward.
再见，沈警官。
再见。
That was an interesting check-in. I'm just stressed about the idea of like, why monthly checkups at a genealogy place? I don't necessarily think that's
最近啊，我都会去改成那个胎动。这个孩子啊，没有了不良的基因，他将来肯定特别优秀。
That feels like it confirms it, right?
然后我就想着
that he somehow can guarantee that there's no bad genes left. It's one thing to have like tests done to ensure that the child will be as healthy as possible when they arrive in the world. This doesn't seem like that conversation. Oh no, what now?
预晚期吗？ 多观察，多注意，
注意，我肯定注意。
That doesn't seem like
啊，我该走了，不救人了，要上语音课，你之前能想象吗？啊，走了。
I wish I could speak Chinese and know what that said. Oh, that's beautiful framing.
那个孩子呢？会遗传吗？有机会的话，让我看一下他自己的基因测序。
没什么价值，只是一个不完美的人的不完美后代而已。
Don't you think that should tell you a little bit about his view of the world? And how easily he could get rid of something if he felt the need to?
对不起，我去趟实验室。
I think it's gonna end here, which is not great. Okay, so that's episode 26. I can't believe we're almost done. And yeah, I feel very torn. I'm intrigued to see whether my judgment of this man was completely wrong. I'll feel so bad if that is the case, but even if the judgment is completely wrong and he ends up not having done anything actually illegal, I just don't like him as a person. As harsh as that is to say, he seems very intent on dictating how people should live their lives. He obviously has a very strong sense of him seeing the world in the correct way, and he does give me a little bit of a vibe of having a god complex. So something about him just puts me off in general, even if he ends up being completely innocent in all this, which seems less and less likely to me, but we'll see. It's painful to see Shinyi and Do Chung at odds like this, though I think it's been building this entire season, so it doesn't feel odd or anything like that. I think they have been doing a really good job of like creating that space between them, and there's something, I don't want to say nice, but like I like the fact that you can see how desperately they're still trying to come together and understand each other and like be there for each other, and yet just because of how they are as people, they're struggling at the moment. So I like that it's not this divide where it feels like they're completely fine with how they're drifting apart. It's happening, and because of the way that each of them are, it makes it really hard to bridge that gap. So I really like seeing that, as much as it pains me to see it.
你知道一个人叫留恋吗？
OK。
他说他忘了，你就这么轻易的放过了？
And again, if Mr. Feng wasn't at all involved in that kind of a oopsie, then who's to say he wasn't involved in more of those kinds of instances? And then also, that immediately means he lied to Shinyi, which, if he could lie about that.
做实验或者植入人体都有可能的呀。
Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. Again, I'm thinking about the fact that Miss Anne just happened to become pregnant, and I'm worrying about the girl that we saw again in the previous episode. Sorry.
对我来说，现在和未来的事才是最重要的。
I think the sad thing here is with how intense Mr. Feng is being about his research. I wonder if Shinyi is not seeing himself reflected in that and seeing the potential dangers that he could fall into if he's not careful. Weirdly enough, I kind of hope that's what he's seeing, because it might actually make him cautious to what Du Cheng is worried about.
周珊珊曾经出镜做过胚胎移植，
移植的医院就是华安介绍的。
我明白。
And conveniently now they're back in contact with the very medical center that did the gene editing originally. Highly suspect.
但这枚被编辑过的基因的胚胎，按照规定是应该被销毁的。不复杂。
陆警官，为什么所有的案子，你第一时间都会想到我？
我们调查发现，在你的实验室里有3颗编。
我们一直在做胚胎基因编辑的研究，这是一项关于全人。
This answer to me just. And I'm struggling because I'm scared that a lot of this is my bias, but it just feels like he just confirmed he thinks he's above the law.
我当然知道这是违法，所以我批评了他可以，而且他答应我，他再也不会做这样，让我给他的孩子做基因检测。
你研究院里发生那么大的事故，你现在跟我说你什么都不知道？
There's not much you can do with that kind of denial, though, unfortunately. It's just always very convenient when someone who, in all other aspects, claims to be very smart, suddenly becomes dumb the second it is convenient for them. Time for me to play the victim.
他已经去世了。
Oh, please don't. Oh, that's gross. The pity me eyebrows that he is wearing when he displayed none of that emotion when he originally found out she was dead. What?
怎么了？你说。
I'm so scared my bias is showing, damn it.
误会。
Why is this man frustrating me so much?
先生，怎么可能？ 唐先生，你害死我儿子，你害死了珊珊，我跟你没完。
Wait, she
你说
died?
孩子没事吗？你不说他很好吗？就是你的基因编辑，现在一尸两命，我就跟你没完。
Oh, I don't know anything, yet this man is talking to me as if both of us were aware of the fact that gene editing had been happening on that fetus.
请你跟我们回去，把所有的误会 都解释清楚。
好。
Every single time he takes off his glasses, it's like he's slipping on a mask.
肯定是基因编辑的时候出了问题。他是个科学疯子，他拿我家人做实验呢。
您刚才提到的
technically allowed it.
具体是怎么操作的？ 那您之后为什么会在周珊珊怀孕3个月的时候再去找方凯义，让他给您的孩子做基因检测？
但是整件事情一定是他在幕后操纵的。
That doesn't help them. The only thing that I would maybe try and look to investigate further is clearly this guy knew about the gene editing, and the police have found out about the gene editing independently. So how did this random civilian know about the gene editing enough to go back to that same man after the very embryo that he had edited found its way to Zhao Shanshan's body? You know? It's just a little bit too much of a coincidence.
还曹总一个公道，也还我一个清白。
That's a lot of confidence you have.
现在的造成了胎儿发育异常，从而导致胎停。
杜警官，
I mean, yeah.
这不是重点。
Excuse you? And there goes the glasses again.
这才是造成悲剧发生的真正原因。
Every single time he
将编辑过的人类胚胎植入人体
his case, and it wants to look innocent, regardless of whether or not he is. He takes off his glasses. That's a very interesting tick.
事后并未及时的追究当事人责任， 是我的疏
忽。
我一定吸取教训。
Potentially have your medical license revoked for that.
你一会儿就可以走。
发生这样的事情。
Oh yes, let's see the emotional manipulation here.
我也是受害者。
近期不要，
否则，你的申诉很有可能都达不到立案的条件。
Are you back from vacation?
快带去签字吧。
走吧，曹先生。
The way he said it sounded a little bit defensive, but he's not technically wrong. Yeah, awkward third wheel away.
走吧。
哦，
这就是你说的殊途同归吗
？Fair point.
如果有一
That's what you
天
promised him originally.
你的职业，今天你在这儿，身份是嫌疑人的朋友，还是我的同事？
Fair question, all the way. I hate that smile. It's so disingenuous, and I can't believe he's aiming at it to Chung. I'm hurt.
正确的道路永远通往正确，错误的道路只会让你犯下更大的错误。
Hear me out. Maybe I'm just desperate, okay? But we have seen Shinyi's acting skills this season, and I do mean Shinyi's, not the actor's acting skills. Could this all be like a deep, not deep cover, but like him keeping his enemies closer than his friends because he knows that, or he suspects that Mr. Feng is guilty, but he's very aware that the police have no evidence. So the best way to get evidence is to stay close to this man and try not to raise suspicions. I think I'm just desperate at this point because I don't want Shinyi to quote-unquote go to the dark side.
我还在休假。
休假结束你还会回来吗？
That hurts. That hurts so much, Dan.
去做更有意义的事。
Look how pleased he is about that. Oh my word. That was... I'm so hoping that I'm right about Shinyi wanting this man to lower his guard. Because... if not, this is gonna hurt on a rewatch. This is gonna hurt so much. Knowing that he genuinely meant that. I wanna cry.
你跟你的凯莱研究所要完了。
Well, if this man ends up dead, then you're gonna look hella suspicious.
8个月，你作品的成功就只差一步之遥了。
He's talking from his perspective, not from his own, I don't think.
你刚刚跟杜成说的那番话，是不是有点重了？我相信你。
The pain in Shinyi's eyes.
我要用绘画留存住这份完美，让它可以被更多人看到。我一直坚信，太可惜了，这将是你做过的最完美的纪录片集。
I wonder if Shinyi's trying to push him. It feels a little bit like it.
实验总会有风险。
I'm just scared that Shinyi's gonna show, like, if this is all a ruse from Shinyi in order to get proof, I'm just scared that Shinyi's gonna show his cards before he does.
这是一张 DNA 衍射图，它的名字叫 BD51号。那事实呢？但无论过程受到多少争议，
他才是第二位之父。
It's very interesting, because again, maybe I'm thinking too much into this, but this is very counter to what Shinyi has always taught. In all his lessons, he's always talked about the conventional view on things. If you think back to the first episode of the first season, the portrait of Moretti, I think? But the one in the bathtub, he was talking about how people viewed it in this way and they didn't think about the truth behind it, which was this woman who became a murderer to save thousands of lives, and he was hailed as this virtuous man when in reality that wasn't the case. So it feels very counter to Shinyi's perspective of history and like appreciating the truth of what history might have obscured. Does that make sense?
我要去继续做实验了，祝我在无数次的失败中，哪怕能成功一次。
That monster doesn't feeling. Oh, the white noise is intense here because the music was removed. Beautiful shots.
如果我的直觉已经不再适合做一名画像师，我要让他带领去做更有意义的事。
This hurts because I feel like a part of Du Cheng thinks he drove Shinyi into this corner.
我只是个画画的，我又不是警察，你们抓不到人，为什么要赖我呀？你的画害死了一个警察。
你的画只能害人，你不配做一个画家。你连张脸都画不出来。
How am I just seeing that's him? And remember, red is the color of something valuable. My word. I am overanalyzing to the heavens.
那你已经尽力了，真画不出来就算了，我不会怪你。
Guys, how far they've come and now they're here and it just pains me.
不，培养一个他这样的艺术家太难了。把仁义
All the pain this man has
不行，他有从人脸看透人心的本事，
seen and I
他有
think
成为一名
he's
优秀警察的素质。
personally responsible
我很感激，
for causing anything.
冥冥之中，雷队也带我找到了我真正归属的地方。
Guys, I can't cry right now. Come on, answer. You were about to call him.
说吧，你的真实意图是什么？
我想争取让方改仪主动自首。
为什么？
因为他和我是同类。
Wait, what?
我当时觉得很可笑，直到我开始回忆起我的过往。如果我的人生里没有遇到你，没有遇到雷队，这件事情
Guys
就让我去做吧。
Oh my word.
这一次不管发生任何事，我都会第一时间通知你。
I see that smile.
同一支画笔会呈现不同的颜色，但笔本身不会改变。
Guys, what? That was an emotional roller coaster. Oh, okay, that was a lot. I'm so happy. Wow, considering where we started this episode, I was not expecting to feel this light and happy and bubbly. But it makes me a little bit worried though, because where the heck do we go from here? And can we really wrap it up in one episode? I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready. But that was amazing. That was amazing. And like they touched on so many of my favorite moments in season 1 and just showed how far they've come. And I loved Shinji's assertion here at the end. I will tell you immediately, regardless of anything. I'm so glad that he's finally, and maybe he's been there for a while, but he hasn't felt like he could tell Du-Cheng about it. But I think he's finally at a point where he genuinely understands Du-Cheng's concerns, and maybe he's been there since way early on in the season, but he hasn't felt like he could let his guard down around Mr. Feng. But I don't think it's actually been that long, just because I do think there was a lot of his interactions with Mr. Feng that was genuine. We'll see. I'm very nervous. I think I might just take like a 2 seconds breather and then we're immediately coming back, because I can't just leave it, even though at the same time I don't want it to end. I'm low-key regretting going through it this quickly. Even though at the same time it's been such a joy and such a ride. I hope you guys are enjoying it as well, and without further ado, let's get into it.
沈老师。
方老师呢？
哦，方老师在实验室呢，今天好像有关键进展。
What portrait did you bring for him? The level of stress I'm feeling right now, and we barely started. This feels eerily similar to when he was looking at the opera murder scene from On High. You know, sometimes he just has peak eccentric artist energy going on. Yeah, that very much resembles it.
你背弃了我的心。
I mean, do you really want to split hairs over who betrayed his trust? Considering you also lied straight to his face
之前的豪门恩
multiple
怨刚
times.
告一段落，这沈老师不在，你也开始凭直觉办案了，小心成对。
程队不在。
嘘。有消息了。
程队。
Speak of the devil and he shall appear.
明明可以结案了，怎么程队还？
不知道。
Come on, I think you do.
你说过，可是你我不后悔，我从不后悔，毫不设防地向你袒露内心。
Good on you, but then you have to be okay with bearing the consequences. Okay. Crap, what now?
有年，安陆人不能落网，一定要让他跑。
Because she has the features that he cares so much about. Implanted in her, I think.
方老师说他自己的堂可以，安陆人肯定会和他有争执。
So what, he instigated it in a sense?
他带了东安乐死的真迹。
Oh, fully instigated it.
而你活下来，就只是成为了他的一枚棋子。
Yeah. And now you're gonna spend your life behind bars, presumably, which is just a great way to spend your life.
因为你的干预，因为你的跨越边界，两个活生生的生命就这么死了。
Yeah.
这就是成功的代价。只要有一次成功，没人会记得住这些失败。
And so it's okay if I murder people, is what I'm hearing.
这都是你的直觉。
Yes, let's hear you guys light him again like you did
你没
last
有
time.
证据，
这就是你的伊甸园，让你感觉到最安全的地方。
Could you imagine? And I don't think it's gonna happen, but like a part of me would kind of find it funny if he just went berserk and destroyed Slab. But he would potentially face legal consequences for that. I do think it would drive this man to an interesting edge, though.
金色的，很好看。
What does that mean? Oh, that's the... Isn't that the plant that...
这里面应该就有你所有的实验和检测记录，包括周珊珊和她肚子里孩子的。
It took me a moment to realize what he was implying.
这就是你的犯罪证据。
And have we learned enough to not let the criminal approach you, Shinyi?
这也是我想分享给你的辛苦。
Don't let your guard down, please. You so badly want to see the best in people.
程队，所有人都集合完毕了，出发去海南生物吗？
The fact that we didn't cut to Shinyi coming here safely is concerning.
到了也先别进去，等我命令。为什么呀？
我知道这个想法很冒险，但我也想像当初的你一样，为他指明正确的方向。
I'm scared that he's gonna allow Shinyi to try and do this, and it's gonna actually put Shinyi in danger. But I guess we'll just have to trust Shinyi in this instance.
但只要我还有机会，有一天我一定可以做到。而那个时候。
So I have not reflected on my actions, and I am planning to do it again. That's what it sounds like.
让我离开
Can
这
I
里，
get this close to you, please?
去决定他人的生老病死。那你所谓的预判犯罪，不也是在干预和改变吗？
No, no, not. Do not equate the two.
以为可以凭借自己的感知和标准去推断人性，是你让我警醒。
Okay, that's where the difference was.
你太让我失望。
The question is, how violent is your reaction
这
going
就
to
是
be?
你想要的，把我送进监狱，让我再也无法实现我的人生价值。
I mean, you could
你以
have
牺牲别人的生
realized
命
your
来破
value.
茧成蝶，
Yeah.
到头来
Had you not crossed the line.
也只会是作茧自缚。自首吧。
I can't help but fear that he's too proud to do it. Oh no. Why am I so scared that he's about to pull something that will cause danger?
让一个心碎的科学家记录在你人性屠夫的最后一页。你不应该放弃，哪怕你失败过。
方凯一，我已经完成了。
怕的是你。
Mm-hmm.
需要毫无保留的真诚面对自己。
That is difficult to do. Oh, I've missed watching him draw. Ooh, beautiful song.
我们都是想改变结果的人，但那个结果应该是解放人。
That's a very interesting statement. I'm so intrigued to see this final image. I hope we do get to see it. I'm so stressed. Oh wow. It's beautiful. If we go by the color theory established during the case with the young boy, it seems like there's a lot of sadness in that portrait though.
一直是这个样子，阴怨、丑陋。
That's a beautiful portrait. Go.
到最后你还要救了我
Dude, attend to your phone. Or at least have it on sound. What's the one behind it? Interesting. Because I'm immediately thinking of like the fire of Prometheus, I think it was. In Greek mythology, Prometheus who gave humans fire to help them with innovation. So that was my immediate thought, especially considering how focused this man is on innovation and improvements and things like that.
这才是你原本该有的样子，不让你羞死。
啊！
对，为了人类生生不息、延绵不尽的希望，和我一起从监狱出来吧。
He's trying so hard to give this man another chance. I'm sad they've cut out the music. I understand it's copyright, but still.
案子已经结束了。
That was a lot of trust he placed into me there. I'm a little sad we didn't get like an epic showdown type of thing, but it's okay. I was just hoping we would see them work together again right at the end.
沈老师，您跟方凯一到底说什么了呀？
Oh, it was a long road of breaking down his defenses.
这么小的一个，
咱们局里还分配这个，那我去试试。走走。
我也想试试。
I want to stop third wheeling this obvious conversation that's about to happen. Finally.
你怎么知道我在这儿？
直觉。
蒋峰也该让他独当一面了。
Somehow I don't think that's the entire answer, but sure.
那天你和方凯一走了之后，
Okay, I have tissues just in case.
我发现你画的每一幅画都不只是人，还是他们的心。
Yeah.
我的边界，事实上限制了你的才华。你喜欢在天上飞，而我更想在地上跑。
对啊。
This hurts. Don't want to cry.
我就飞到了。你知道我为什么那么爱北疆分局吗？
No, hold on. You can't just say like I am gonna fly in your sky wherever you go and expect me to be okay with that. Oh, okay. Oh, yeesh.
如果没有你，我恐怕早就粉身碎骨。
Well, if that isn't a love confession, I don't know what is.
我们俩
I'm on what?
就像一个圆规，我能画出再大的圆，也都是因为你是那个圆形。你在哪，圆就在哪。
this one, I think whatever she's saying can't get more romantic. This man's basically dedicating his life to you. I'm not calm at all. Whew. I'm sorry. I know I'm making a lot of noises. I'm not okay. When shadows Fuck. And what a beautiful choice of scenery for this. Like the open sky, something that looks like a circle there. I love it.
FTO 基因是什么？他凭什么导致肥胖？我也不胖啊！
没关系，我要是头发真掉光了，我就梳个19发型，显得还挺潮的。
行，真有那么一天我。
不是，这看这个预测结果呀，
我怎么就觉得有点不对劲儿了
I mean, fair. I'd be paranoid as well.
看看，这是什么基因啊？单身狗基因。
就是说找不到男朋友吗？程队，我看你的。
缺乏维生素 B 的吸收能力，
缺少维生素 B， 这个我知道，容易打伤人。你看，我的也很普通，
没有问题。
That is so cute. I like that they finished off with another art.
什么意思啊？不欢迎我啊？
不是，我就过个小生日。
I don't like this. I'm not ready for like a potential season 3 to freak me out.
庙装不住。
Because this feels way too similar to how Du Cheng, sorry, Captain Lei was injured.
大家都放不开了。
也有这方面的考虑吧。
Guys, we're at the end of a freaking season. You can't be stressing me out like this.
谢谢张局。
Oh, that looked like me. I'm not believing any of this. This is my delusion. Guys, you can't do this to me. What the hell? I'm in very strong denial right now. Oh. I have a thought, and I'm gonna go with it because I don't like the alternative. Yeah, okay, I think potentially my thought is correct, I'm hoping. Okay, let's just, before whatever is about to happen happens, my thought was, I think this is what would have happened had Du Cheng not helped him when he did. I'm not buying it. What was that? Okay, yeah, I'm very curious to hear your guys' thoughts on that potentially open ending. Like, they did drop something similar to that at the end of season 1, where it came back in the form of this Mr. Feng. The painting that is what I'm talking about. But this very much felt like a hypothetical. It's just the way that it was shot that is making me doubt whether or not it actually was a hypothetical. Because why have the present day Shani there as well with this person who looks like the past Shani? So it could, like, there could be something more to it. I don't like that they ended it that way, unless it means that we are guaranteed a season 3. If we're not guaranteed a season 3, they should have left that off. Hi, sorry, I was editing the final part of this and I noticed that there was something that I very much missed out on commentating about, and I think it's quite an important bit of this series and like season as a whole. So I wanted to add this in. I'm not quite sure where I'm gonna add it, but I just wanted to add it in. And that is with regards to the kind of message that we had Shin-Yi convey to Mr. Feng, that it's not just nature or nurture that dictates where they end up in life, and it's not up to either Mr. Feng or Shin-Yi himself to try and decide what people are going to do before they've even really made that choice themselves, or how people are going to turn out before they've even had a chance to try and shape their own futures. So I really liked that message, and I think in a sense, considering how I feel about the like end of the show, the may or may not be a drop for season 3 thing, I think that could very much play into it as well. But anyway, back to the original outro. Okay, but putting that upsetting final image aside, like, why did they have to add that? It feels so stupid. Putting that aside, my word, that final scene between Du-Chung, the like, what I'm gonna classify as the actual final scene, because we're disregarding whatever nonsense that last bit was, basically just being like, you are my world, you are my compass. Basically, just Shin-Yi being like, you are my world, you're the compass that I navigate my entire life according to. We are a team and that is the way it's gonna stay. Excuse you. I was not emotionally prepared for it, but I loved every single second of it, and it healed something in me. Because honestly, it was very stressful this season, seeing them feel like they were drifting apart a little. And having Shin-Yi reaffirm that to Du-Chung in such a clear way was so gratifying, so satisfying. I mentioned as we were watching it that I was a little bit disappointed by there not being a big final showdown or like coming together point of Du-Chung and Shin-Yi to solve the final case. But looking at the show or the season as a whole, and the distrust and restraint that had grown between them, it really couldn't have ended in any other way to show how much each of them had grown than it did. The fact that Du-Chung trusted and allowed him to do what he thought was best, and Shin-Yi received that trust and showed him that he respected the boundaries that Du-Chung needed. The fact that he kept Du-Chung informed, the fact that he had Du-Chung listening in throughout all of it, shows you that he took to heart what Du-Chung actually needed in order to feel secure about Shin-Yi's decisions and the limitations that Du-Chung needs in terms of like on the legal side of things. Well, not the legal side, but like what he feels he needs in his career. It was honestly great to see. And then the fact that they gave us that scene between them afterwards, it was fantastic. I'm actually so excited to rewatch season 2 now, knowing where we end up, because I think it's going to put a lot of things into a little bit of a different perspective. I'm actually rewatching season 1 at the moment, and getting to see season 1 from where I am now with the characters has been so interesting. So I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. Let me know what you thought, and thank you so much for sticking with me through these 28 episodes and frankly hours upon hours of editing. I would not be surprised if I have spent literally about 100 hours editing the show. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought, and I'll see you in the next one. 再见。